letsgo.com.
And by the way, Andre Agassi lost in the semifinals today of the Eurocard. That does it for this edition of Sports Center. Thanks for being with us. I'm Betsy Ross.
And I'm Mike Greenberg. College football coming up next. Florida State and Virginia. Enjoy.
College football Saturday under the lights and on top of the polls. Some 300 miles apart, the nation's #1 and #3 teams run parallel courses tonight. Could these be the two on a collision course for New Orleans? On ESPN, top-ranked Florida State is in Charlottesville. The hype over for father and son that's behind them. So is Bobby's 300th win. Bobby Bowden looking to go 8 for 8 in the ACC, 8 titles in 8 years. Let's get the latest now from the men who will call the game, Ron Franklin and Mike Gottfried. Gentlemen.
Brian, thanks very much. It is very noisy at this stadium. A packed house, a gorgeous evening in this part of the state of Virginia. And it seems as though the Seminoles get everybody's best shot, particularly when you're #1 in the nation. Mike, on Tuesday, we talked with Bobby Bowden, and he said, I addressed my club about the BCS standings and the fact that we control our own destiny. How secure are they at #1, and what do they have to do to maintain?
Ron, I don't think Florida State has played like the #1 team. They have the talent, they have the coaching, they have everything. And I'm not sure they can beat Florida. I think what they need to is a momentum game. They need to break out here against Virginia, play very well, play well against Maryland, the open date, and then get ready for Florida.
So breakout is the word if you're a Florida State fan tonight. Brian, back to you. We'll be back with the game shortly. Excited Virginia football team along with their fans, and why not, as the #1 team in the nation comes calling. And anytime the invite is out and these youngsters come to play, they are ready for them here in Charlottesville. Hello once again, Ron Franklin along with Mike Gottfried. Talk about Peter Warrick. He returned last week, but he had some rust on the edges, Mike. He was not nearly as sharp as he normally is.
Ron, he was rusty, but he had 11 catches, and what that does is it opens up the other receivers because you have to double him. It opens up the running game, Minor. So they were lucky that they had him last week. I think they lose the ball game without Peter Warrick last week.
Well, 37 straight games with the reception. As the kickoff we are just about to have. David Green with the ball teed up, and here's the kick. Florida State. The call is made at the 2-yard line by Gardner. Comes to the outside, and he suckered him there. Crosses the 20 to the 25, and Virginia almost got caught, not staying at home on the kick return. Let's go to the sideline, and our third man, Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, before this game goes any further, a reminder that Florida State still calls this place the scene of the crime, in reference, of course, to that night in '95 when they lost their first ever ACC game. I was here. I remember. I also remember that game in '97 when Travis Minor took revenge and the ball in his own hands and raced 87 yards to the end zone. 5 minutes later, the route was on. Both teams haven't forgotten either the upset in '95 or the blowout in '97. Point being, they both want to make a big statement here.
Long memories, running play, bounces off one tackler. Minor goes down, maybe a loss of 1. And this Virginia defense is really pumped and bouncing around. Time now to take a look at the Dell Computer starting lineups. Winky, of course, at quarterback. Travis Minor, the leading rusher for Florida State, who just carried. Kendra, the fullback. The receivers, Warwick is back. Sprague, the tight end. Dugans will join them. And up front with the offensive line, Whitaker returns. He was ill last week. Williams and Thomas at the tackles. And Eric Thomas out of Miami is the center. Winky swings it out of the backfield. Crosses the 30 and out to the 31-yard line. Warwick on a short gain. There is a flag on the play as we take a look at the defensive starters for the Virginia Cavaliers tonight. Offensive holding, says Jack Childress, the referee in tonight's ball game from this Atlantic Coast Conference crew. Here's that defense we were talking about as you look at Rick Lance standing behind George Wells. Monsanto Pope, we don't know how long he can go tonight. He was not scheduled to start until actually yesterday. Anderson, Shivers are in Stemenich are the others. Taylor, Isbell, and Thweet, the linebackers. And in the secondary, Stoops, Harris, Williams, and Jerton Evans. Those corners, Stoops and Harris, will have, obviously, their hands full tonight. So the penalty moves the ball back to the 18-yard line. And Winky with the play action zings it over the middle, incomplete, looking for his tight end. Off the mark for Sprague.
Ron, in last week's ball game, Mark Richt told us on our conference call they had 9 drop passes, 15 passes not thrown accurately. They start out the same way in this ball game, and Virginia needs a good start to stay close to this Florida State football team.
So it's going to be 3rd down, the ball just outside the 18, and they need to take it all the way out to the 37 to pick up the 1st down. Crowd on their feet, cheering for the defense. The snap by Thomas, he's in trouble, and he just throws this one away. Shannon Taylor was the man pressuring.
And Ron, that's the same thing Clemson did to him last week. They pressured him from the outside, got Chris Winky moving. He doesn't throw well on the move.
Thomas Jones, because of an injury tonight, Mike is going to return punts. Arlen Harris is normally the guy, but they're using Thomas tonight. George said they will not use him on kickoffs.
Ron, Keith Cottrell is an excellent punter, too. So this is a good battle right here.
Interesting in watching the returns on Thursday. Thomas hasn't done this in a bit, and he was having to check with Harris on what the codes were, what the signal calls were, whether it was left, right, or up the middle. This is a booming kick. Thomas on the run. He has to retreat all the way to the 33, breaks off the first tackle, and is going to be stopped at the 36-yard line. 49 yards in the kick and 4 on the return. So the starters for Virginia, it'll be Ellis along with Thomas Jones. He does everything for this football team, and he is a beauty to watch. Anthony Southern is the fullback. The receivers, Coffey and Hawkins, favor the tight end. They'll use 3 tight ends. They're all big targets. And up front with the offensive line, the big change, Josh Lawson normally is the starter. He's injured. LaMontagne moves from left guard out to left tackle. Jared Woodson, who's a backup at left guard, goes on as the starter at that position. On 1st down, this is Ellis. Good protection, and he's going to go on top first play. And he caught it, but he caught it out of bounds. It's Kevin Coffey. And it gives us an opportunity to look at the starters defensively for Florida State. The down 4, you have to start with the tackles. Right there in the middle, Johnson and Corey Simon. And they are as good a tandem as anybody has in the country. David Warren gets the start at that defensive end spot, and he's replacing Roland Seymour. The linebackers, Pauly, Jennings, and Brian Allen. And in the secondary, Tay Cody, of course, suspended. He is not here. Cleavon Thomas replaces him. And it is Chris Hope replacing Sean Key at the free safety spot this evening. Key will not play. 2nd down, here's Jones. Boy, great wiggles when he moves. Brian Allen is the man who comes up to make the tackle. It'll be 3rd down. But Jones, one that has a lot of God-given talent and a great heart.
And, Ron, you look at his statistics. Last year against this Florida State defense, he had 16 carries for 66 yards. That's the big question tonight. Can they run the football against this Florida State front?
One of the things, as you remember, that Clemson did last week in that first half, they kept the Florida State offense off the field by playing ball control. Pressure from behind. He's going to run it. 40, and look at the cover. Good heavens, that's Pauly from the linebacking position. Didn't take him long to run him down, did it?
No, he has great closing speed. Tommy Pauly leads Florida State in tackles with 73. Give him another one, 74. But he just closed on Ellis quickly.
Donnie Scott, number 90, stands back to punt. Peter Warwick is the deep man on 4th down and 7. They got the return on, and this is off the side of his foot. Going to take a big Virginia bounce, fielded by Warwick at the 15. And he's loose on the outside. Warwick breaks another tackle, hit from behind as he waited for the block. It'll take it all the way to the 42. That's 45 yards on the kick and 28 on the return.
Peter Warwick's so dangerous, and he hurts you so different many ways. Just starts up the inside and then breaks to the right. Got a couple nice blocks and puts the offense in good field position. Ron, Florida State played 42 players in the first minute and 30 seconds. That's what the SID just brought over to us. They're playing a lot of players early in this game.
Well, they got excellent field position here with Warwick's return of 28 yards. And they go to their own 42. Short drop, quick pass out to Warwick. And he'll have about 5. Antoine Harris is there to make the tackle on him. And also one of the things that Clemson did such a good job of last week is that is taking away the big play of Florida State, because everybody they play, Mike, they get an extra base hit of some kind.
Ron, they had 11. Peter Warwick had 11 receptions last week, but they kept him to about 110 yards. He should have had over 200 yards on a normal day. They didn't allow the big play. That's what Virginia wants to do tonight.
Winky comes up now with an audible. Plenty of time on the play clock. It's at 7. Now it's 6. Miner going to have the first down, puts a head down running tough all the way to the 44. Shannon Taylor makes the stop.
Well, in last week's ball game, we keep referring to the Clemson game, but until Travis Miner got untracked in the third quarter and they ran the football a little bit more, that game was in danger. But Travis Miner in the running game, the offensive line, took over the Clemson game, starting early tonight with some draw plays to slow down the rush.
See the numbers on Travis, averaging almost 5 yards a carry. The ball just inside the 44. Here comes pressure from the outside. Florida State picks it up. And the pass the other direction, wide open, Dugan. And I don't know if he had slipped or not, but Stooks was way too far off him.
Yeah, Ron, he did slip. Dwayne Stooks trying to cover Ron Dugans, and just kind of his feet came out from under him.
Folks, to remind you of what Adrian was talking about, after the upset win the next time, 2 years ago, when Florida State came here, they had run 5 offensive plays and they scored 3 touchdowns. It was 21-0 in the first quarter. Winky pulls it down and he's going to run it. Now, Tinford trying to help him out along with the rest of his teammates, and he'll step out of bounds for no gain. Winky said an interesting thing yesterday at their walkthrough, Mike. The same thing that his offensive coordinator said, and that is they have a world of respect for Virginia, but they're not worried about what Virginia's doing tonight. He said, we got to take care of business the way we do it and stop making errors. So that's where our concentrations are going to be on Saturday night. 2nd and 11. The pitch to Miner. McWeeny is over to make the tackle. Let's check in with Brian Kenny. Brian?
Ron, Virginia Tech at it already. First of all, they had their first block punt of the season. Their special teams unit got the block punt on Pittsburgh, and then they get the ball back. Michael Vick cutting back, making it look easy. 46 yards for the touchdown. Hokies lead Pittsburgh 7-zip.
When you play that option, you better not let him free. You got to force him to pitch.
Well, Pittsburgh plays a blitzing style defense, which gets them in man coverage. That's why no one was in the secondary.
Intercepted by Thweet.
Early in this game.
Ball was hit by Shivers, and the interception by Thweet. We'll be right back.
Monday Night Countdown at 7 on ESPN.
3 years ago, my IT guys told me there'd be 2 kinds of businesses. Those with a vision to master the internet, and those without. And we didn't want to be the second kind. Then Dell came to see us. They showed us how to use the internet for direct relationships with our customers, suppliers, everyone who's a part of our business. With Dell's support, there's no limit to where I can take this company. We always knew we needed the internet. We just didn't know how badly.
Be direct. Dell. Dell servers use Intel Pentium 3 processors.
This man just woke up in a Residence Inn by Marriott suite. What are his options? He can A, make a cup of fresh coffee in the kitchen. B, walk all the way over to the living room area and start a fire in the fireplace. Or C, shoot some hoops. Okay, let's see what he does. Ah, D, none of the above. Residence Inn by Marriott. Room to relax, room to work, room to breathe.
We don't build commuter cars. Or get you to work that pinstriped cars. We don't build cars, period. We build the 205 horsepower, get out of town fast Isuzu Rodeo. Because there's more to life than the daily commute.
ESPN's presentation of primetime college football is brought to you by Isuzu. We don't make cars because life is too big for cars. And we're back as you take a look at the defense. Rick Lance, the man in the middle there, the gentleman with, well, the gentleman in the middle. That's as far as I'll take that description. Talking with his guys as Thomas Jones is gang tackled. Brian Allen, one of the first men to get out there. Paulie is there also along with Chris Hope.
Well, you teach defensive linemen to get their hands up, even if they're being blocked. Right here, Johnny Shivers is going to work against the Florida State offensive line. He gets blocked, but now watch, he gets his hand up, tips the football, and then Tweet with the interception.
Tweet is a man who is an awfully good athlete and has played well for Virginia, but he's also playing with injuries, and they've had to move him around some to try to keep him healthy. Passes it right over the middle. Thomas Jones, good heavens. Paulie almost took his head off as soon as he caught the football. And that's one of the things. When I talked with him on Thursday after practice, I said, does it matter that you know you're going to carry the ball at least 35 times? And these guys really come after you. And he said, nope, it makes me lather a little more.
He may be the best back in the country, but he's going to have his work cut out for him tonight. He's second in the nation in rushing with 158.4 yards, but he's going to earn every inch tonight.
Thomas Jones, third down for the Cavaliers, and they need to take it to the 36.5-yard line. Still no score. Ellis got it to Jones, and he'll have the first down out close to the 40. Chris Hope is hanging on for dear life on that one.
Ron, he worked against Bradley Jennings, the linebacker. This is the old Bill Walsh play where you bring the back out of the backfield, and then you work him back inside. Now he stems the back, and here's the linebacker over here behind him. He's got him on his hip now and makes the catch and picks up the first down.
So the Cavaliers with their initial first down of the night. As Ellis sets deep, now the protection breaks down, gets some help, and he's going to try to run it. But again, at closing speed, this time David Warren, and coming over was the middle linebacker, Bradley Jennings, and he simply had no place to go.
Ron, I was watching that route. Billy McMullen was the receiver. Now, he broke open, but Dan Ellis, the timing wasn't right on that play for some reason. Dan Ellis was not ready to throw, or was ready to throw. McMullen didn't make the break till after, and then he started running, but he was open.
Ellis, who throws almost 59%, 1,367 yards and 10 touchdowns, but he also has 8 interceptions on the year. 2nd and 7. Jones hit behind the line of scrimmage. Boy, what great penetration. Corey Simon, who we talked so much about last week. And this is a great matchup tonight, Mike, and we need to keep it there because John Sinclair is said to be the best lineman for Virginia. The pro scouts really like him. Obviously, Simon is a favorite of the pro scouts as well, and they're going head-to-head quite a bit tonight.
Well, Gary Tranquil, the offensive coordinator for Virginia, knows and he respects Simon. He said he's a very physical football player and gets off blocks very well.
The thing that Sinclair told me, I said, what makes Simon so tough? And he said he always stays low. You can't play him high. They get help on Simon this time. Pass is thrown complete, and that's Hawkins. And Hawkins will have the first down. Good second effort, a gain of 11 as Brian Allen made the stop.
They're working on the linebackers of Florida State. Florida State's linebackers dropping deep, and they're working underneath with Thomas Jones and Ahmad Hawkins. Number 80, the wide receiver, is going to come inside. Just working inside the linebacker. There he is over the middle. Gets the catch, and then yards after the catch until Brian Allen makes the tackle.
Jones right at the middle. He'll go for a tough 2, maybe 3. Bradley Jennings trips him up.
You almost figure, Ron, strategy, Gary Tranquil and George Wellspring in this ball game, because everybody, all week at Florida State, you practice on stopping Thomas Jones. Stop Thomas Jones, stop Thomas Jones on the run. So linebackers are so conscious of him on the run that once the fake is to him, they're going to drop deep, and that's why they're working underneath him.
Well, the same old story as you take a look at Gary Tranquil up in the booth. He just moved behind that. There he is trying to simulate and have the same kind of speed that Florida State brings against you, Mike. Going to run it, very wisely dives to the 41-yard line. Rackley, who had just come in replacing Brian Allen, is there to cover him up, senior out of Tallahassee.
Ron, good job by the Virginia offensive tackles, Barnes and LaMontagne, because they're forcing the rush around the quarterback. See, now watch him force him around, then Ellis will step up inside. That's good job by the 2 tackles, and nice job by the quarterback stepping up inside that rush.
This is the 8th play of the drive, and they need just over a yard. Florida State with a 5-man front, linebackers up tight, and they're going to throw the ball. They gave it to Jones. Now here comes the pressure, and he'll have to run it. Can he make the corner? Yes, he does. First down, Virginia. Bobby Rhodes was after him. Mickey Andrews, he ran out of bounds right in front of Mickey, and I doubt that he is real excited about his defense allowing that to happen.
Well, good job by Chris Hope. It looked like Chris Hope on the coverage, and Chris Hope made one of the biggest plays last week.
Mike, the official who was right there, says that he stepped out of bounds before he got to the 40-yard line. So you can see him protecting the football with his feet, making sure that it doesn't get bounced when they bring the marker over. And it is 4th. And George Welch says, let's go for it.
Now set the clock here. 25-second clock.
So it's whistled in. We have just gone under 5 minutes left in this opening quarter. 4th down, Virginia. Quarterback sneak, and he got it. Corey Simon was the first man to get to him.
Paul Shadell is the offensive line coach for Virginia. Was the head coach at Ball State, coached at Michigan under Bo Schembecker, a very sound offensive line coach. And this offensive line coach, offensive line of Virginia, they think's the best they've ever had here.
I was interested in watching him in practice on Thursday, Mike. He was really on some of the youngsters, particularly saying, you're going to make a mistake in practice, you'll get killed on Saturday night. You got to do it mistake-free. And I can't be out there hollering.
He's a very technique-minded coach.
Dan Ellis, the junior out of Exton, Pennsylvania, gives the ball off to Jones. Wow, he went down quickly. Thomas is not big in stature, 5'10", 207, hard as a rock, and runs very hard. But when you get met with the force and quickness of, like these Florida State linebackers, it is a difficult evening if nobody gets a piece of it.
Well, Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator of Florida State, said he's the best in America, and he does so many things. He's got power, finesse, catches the ball. He's a complete player. So they have the attention of Thomas Jones tonight.
You can see the clock running, about to go under 4 minutes left in this opening quarter. It's Coffey in motion as they roll the pocket to the open side of the field. Delivers the pass. Got it. No, he dropped the football. Well, that was McMullen. They're going to say it is a catch.
Yeah, Billy McMullen, the true freshman, brought it in, Ron. That's his 17th catch. Now they're waving it off. You're right. One official said he had it. The other official said no. Let's look at it. No, he's a good call.
Yeah, he was
Mario Edwards on the coverage.
He was losing the football as he headed out of bounds.
I'm going back to Thomas Jones as we watch that drop again. A lot of pro scouts think he's Emmitt Smith. They like him. Pro people are talking about him, how high he'll go.
Can he carry another 12 or 13 pounds
Yeah, I
like
think
him
so,
and play
yeah.
like 220, something like that?
Without a doubt. And he has great hands out of the backfield.
13th play of the drive for Virginia. Ellis pressured. He's going to be sacked. That's Allen. Boy, he is lucky to have held on to the football, as he did not see or feel Brian Allen until he got there, and you could see he went down quickly.
And Ron, if you're going to beat Florida State, Billy McMullen, you got to make those catches because you only give so many opportunities. Clemson last week had so many opportunities to win that game, and then they just let it go at the end. Didn't make some plays that they needed to make. You almost got to be perfect against these guys.
Reggie Durden is the deep man for Florida State. Second punt of the night by Scott. Great coverage kick. Very, very high. And it's going to bound, headed for the end zone. Did he down it? The official says yes at the 1 foot line. Nope, now he says touchback. Okay. So we'll take a break. No score. 3:02 left, opening quarter. Florida State and Virginia still sparring.
You can't see anything in a car. You can't see past the guardrails in a car. That's why we don't make tiny little cars.
Look, Mommy, a tugboat. Really? In the water? Yeah.
In fact, we don't make cars, period.
Mommy, bird. Wow.
We prefer the view from the look outside and see the world as Suzu Trooper.
Look, Mommy, space boat.
Because you never know what you might miss in a car.
Log on to dsports.com, the ultimate online sporting goods store. dsports.com. C's with D.
As you might expect, Keller and I don't see eye to eye on investing. I like to avoid risk. Keller's a little more daring. We do, however, share the same new way to trade online.
Introducing Power Street by Fidelity, the first site with trading tools customized by Lycos to fit your life, your goals, your unique way of doing things.
Look, the market's up. Or, in your case, down.
Power Street Online Trading. Call or visit Fidelity.com to open an account.
Rocky Top and the Irish. Don't miss this one. Please.
Notre Dame, Tennessee at 7:30 next Saturday on ESPN.
Some of the crowd here tonight, they are completing the upper deck to the south end zone here. But I'll tell you, there's no room for anybody, particularly on the hill back to our left. And we'll show you that as the ball game goes on. There's the new addition coming in. Gorgeous, gorgeous locker rooms down below. But in the end zone to the north, where they sit on the grass, it is absolutely packed up there as well. That's what happens when number one comes to town. Leakey on the play action, zooms it complete at the 25. And the tight end Sprague will drag his man for about 4 more yards. Tackle made by Stooks.
I said jokingly today on the radio that the worst thing they did was beat them back here being the first team.
Look at this, Mike. There's the new Jumbotron, and you can see that there are no bleachers up there. They're
grass.
Yeah, the lines are pretty straight, though. But they're sitting on the grass and enjoying a great Virginia evening. As Minor cuts it back, breaks a tackle, and slips down as he crosses the 35. But he has plenty enough for the first down.
Anytime Florida State starts to struggle a little bit, they go right to the eye, run the football, get the ball in Travis Minor's hands, get Dan Kendra blocking, and that's when the Bobby Bowden of the 70s, early 80s, they ran the eye, and now they're back in the eye. They're trying to take control of this game with their offensive line.
4 carries, 25 yards for Minor. A pass complete to the 42 to Dugans. Antoine Harris makes the stop on him.
I was saying round about when they beat them a couple of years ago, and Adrian was talking about that, the only ACC win over Florida State. Every time Florida State comes in here now, it's a rallying cry. You know, remember that game. So they get the attention.
Well, there's signs all over town here in Charlottesville. Not that anyone needed to be reminded that the Seminoles were coming. That pass intercepted, the second one of the night, and this ball was not tipped. That's a great job by Jerton Evans.
Ron, they had Peter Warrick doubled again, and free safety was the double lead. Jerton Evans makes the interception, same high school that Anthony Poindexter was out of.
So as we go to break, you can watch Peter Warrick, and here's the attention that he garners. And look at the jump on the ball right there. Didn't see number 30. We'll be right back.
Our prices are prehistoric. During Monster Saving Days at Rex, get this Toshiba VCR with multilingual on-screen display for just $79. Rex has a prehistoric price on this Toshiba 50-inch stereo projection TV with picture-in-picture and surround sound a low $12.99. Plus, buy any big screen TV 35 inches or larger at Rex and get a sharp stereo VCR free. Terrific value, terrific price at the king of electronics, Rex.
Of course, Nice Cars is a little different. Buy a nice late model car, truck, van, or SUV from Nice Cars and get a $200 rebate. Nobody gives rebates on used cars. Nice Cars does.
If the car you choose is $895 down, use your rebate and pay only $695 down with easy on-the-lot financing.
At Nice Cars, you can drive home any car on the lot for $500. Now with your rebate, you can drive for $300? That's crazy! Come on down!
Some people you could always count on to be there for you. We were there when you fixed up your first car. And when you fixed up your first apartment. We were even there when you finally got fixed up yourself. So now that you're fixing more bottles than old cars, there's no one better to talk to about your changing life insurance needs than the State Farm agent you've always trusted to care for your car, your home, and you. State Farm is there for you because State Farm is there for life.
Well, again, Rick Lance standing in the middle of his crew, and he's got to be pleased. 2 picks already tonight. So Winky on the season, 15 touchdowns, but 11 interceptions.
And Ron, he holds the ACC record passes without an interception, 231. He threw it, broke it in the Louisiana Tech game, and threw an interception in that ball game.
Mason in motion. Jones squeezes through a hole and bounces inside the 45-yard line. Boy, he is quick. And another number 6, Derek Gibson, is over to make the stop on him, the junior out of Miami.
Yeah, and the safety, Jerton Evans, sits back here. Now, Peter Warrick is being doubled. Number 9 is going to run up inside of him. And then Evans, the safety, is reading Winky all the way and picks that football off.
Not only a good reaction, good closing time by him as well. You look at Warrick on the bench. Jones inside the 40, down to the 38, 1st and 10 Virginia, and let's check in with the big guy. Adrian, what do you got for us?
Ron, some of the statistics that those pro scouts you were describing really love about Thomas. You may not see in the book. Yeah, number 2 rusher in the nation as of this week, but check this out. Has never been late for a practice, never been late for a team meeting, and has graduated in 3 years with a degree in psychology. Ron, it seems like he's always been ahead of schedule.
He's a fun young man to visit with, Adrian. We talked to him on Thursday after practice. A lot to be proud of as far as the alumni of this young man, Thomas Jones. Bobby Rhodes stops him this time.
And his brother plays at Notre Dame, had over 100 yards today, and Notre Dame's win against Navy.
I asked him if he had a message, and he said, the irony is we live much closer to Tennessee than we do to Virginia. He said, everybody in our hometown really thought we should have gone, both of us, to be volunteers. And the irony is my little brother gets to play against them, and I never got to my entire career. Ellis rolls the pocket, and that ball is tipped, and then is caught by Virginia. Jones got it. That thing looks like a pinball machine. Edwards tipped it first. And that is the end of the first quarter as we sort this one out, but it's going to be a gain by Virginia. Look at it one more time as we head to break. Brian Allen with the sack. In the first quarter, no score. We'll be right back.
From the road to number 1. Coming down.
Sugar Bowl. And nothing's going to stop us. Look out!
Now what? There's an easier way to the national championship. Nokia's Road to #1 sweepstakes. Just buy any Nokia model phone in a specially marked box and you can win trips to the Nokia Sugar Bowl or thousands of other great prizes.
I'm not giving up shotgun.
Nokia. Connecting people.
You manipulated me into this.
I fought for you, and I still fight.
The Insider is the best villain of the year.
He's only the key witness in the biggest public health reform issue in U.S. history.
It will pin you to your seat. One of the most breathlessly entertaining pictures of the year. Al Pacino, Russell Crowe.
It's balanced and true and proven.
Not the point whether you call it truth or not.
The Insider, a Michael Mann film, rated R. Starts Friday, November 5th.
Reach across time and see yourself. You stand tall against terrifying enemies. You build masterpieces and break down barriers. You rush into the future and meet your past. For every time, at every moment, the official network of every millennium. The History Channel, where the past comes alive.
We don't build commuter cars. Or get you to work fast pinstriped cars. We don't build cars, period. We build the 205 horsepower, get out of town fast Isuzu Rodeo. Because there's more to life than the daily commute.
We are back. No score at the end of the first quarter. Some of Mike Gottfried's tickets here tonight.
Future lawyers.
Situation, third down. They need the 28.5-yard line to keep this drive going. Big John St. Clair over the football. Ellis incomplete as he threw into a wad of people, and a flag is down now.
It's almost holding there, Ron, where that's being called at by the referee. The route was bad because both the running back and the wide receiver almost collided on that route. Coffey and Hawkins.
Well, Simon and also Brian Allen were really coming after the quarterback.
You know, with Virginia Tech playing Pittsburgh tonight, you know the Virginia Tech people are pulling for Virginia. I think the holding occurred on the right side.
Holding on the offense. That penalty is declined. Fourth down.
So it is a fourth down, and as I told you before, they need to go to the 28.5-yard line, and they will not go for the distance field goal. This will be the third punt of the night by Scott.
And I think this is a good call, Ron, because they've been able to keep Florida State's offense under control. Now, that's a punt safe all the way. They don't even send anybody back. They're figuring a trick play here.
What Mike means is they don't have anybody back, and their regular defensive people are on the field. This is off the side of his foot, and it may turn out very good. It does, at the 1-foot line.
I don't like it when you don't bring anybody back, because that can happen right there. No one has a chance to fair catch the football.
Well, coming up tomorrow, Week 8 of ESPN Sunday Night Football at 8:15 Eastern, Warren Sapp leads the Tampa Bay Buccaneers into Detroit to take on the Lions. Then on ABC's Monday Night Football, Mike Holmgren returns to Lambeau as his Seahawks battle Brett Favre and the Packers. ESPN and ABC, your exclusive home for prime time NFL football. Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, and Adrian Karsten coming to you from a sold-out Charlottesville, Virginia. Almost lost that football, did a great job of holding on, which shows his strength. And Brian Kenny, let's check with you.
Ron, this is the longest continuous rivalry in college football history. Kansas and Nebraska. Nebraska punting, but block punt. Mike Jordan with the block punt for Kansas. 2-0 Kansas. Only 2 points, but the first points in 1996. It shut out the last 2 years.
Okay, Brian, 4 years ago, Mike and I were up there doing that football game, and it snowed like the dickens. I believe was it a Thursday night game or a Saturday night game? I guess it was Saturday.
Seemed like it was Thursday and ended it Saturday.
This is Dan Kendra, the big fullback out of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, who is shaken up on the play. Training staff out attending to him.
It's been a great comeback story. He got hurt, came to Florida State as a quarterback, sustained some injuries to his knees.
Always a young man that Coach Bowden said when he was playing quarterback. You remember, he looked bigger than most of their linebackers. And Coach Bowden said that the young man was so conscious of everything he put in his body. He was so careful about what he ate. I think his body fat content was like around 2%, and that was it.
And always been a good team man.
Yeah.
When he's been hurt, he's been really a great guy for his teammates to bounce things off of.
Well, we're going to take a break as they continue to check over Dan Kendra. We will be back with more in our score: Virginia nothing and Florida State nothing.
Which sports center do you watch? Mornings, evenings, late nights? Only on ESPN.
Bill gave this to me as a birthday present.
Inspired my life. I bought them. I investigated them.
Hey, guys, this is the drill. Come on down.
I'm sick and tired of getting toy fire trucks for Christmas.
I'm Bill Freeze. I'm a fire safety specialist with Liberty Mutual Insurance. Every 78 seconds, a home catches fire. So the more we research, the safer we can help you make your home. The more lives we save.
At Liberty Mutual, we have hundreds of experts helping you live a safer, more secure life. It's insurance in action.
Did I mention my sprinkler head collection?
The inspiration for the new LeSabre didn't just come from the research center or design facility. It also came from your family. Introducing the all-new 2000 LeSabre, re-engineered with more safety features than any other car in its class. The new 2000 LeSabre by Buick.
Looking for a wireless phone is enough to make your head spin. Analog, PCS, calling areas, night minutes, weekend minutes. Then I went to Circuit City. They helped me find a great phone and the perfect rate plan.
Right now, you'll get a $40 Circuit City gift card free with any wireless phone purchase. And you'll get a free 900 megahertz cordless phone when you buy select Nokia phones, a $30 value. Let Circuit City clear the air on wireless phones today.
ESPN's presentation of primetime college football is brought to you by the all-new 2000 LeSabre by Buick, re-engineered to be safer than ever. And by Circuit City, answers at every department, low prices all over the store. Well, Florida State took this ball over at their 1-yard line. You look at Kendra, we think he got kicked in the back. We will get a report, but he walked off the field on his own. Second down. Nice job defensively. Miner is going to have a couple. Shivers is down at the bottom of that stack, and also Maurice Anderson.
We stayed at the same hotel as Rick Lance and George Welsh and the Virginia players, and they talked about what we're seeing here. Play with fun, run to the football just like Clemson did, and you see the graphic over 20 yards, only 2 plays. Do not allow Florida State big plays.
Winky pressure from the outside, and it's intercepted. That is Stoops. The 3rd interception of the night. Tackle made by Almond. Well, as Mike said, Chris Winky has been a kid who set a conference record in completions without an interception. Tonight, he has thrown 3 picks already.
Bowden, the receiver, wasn't ready, Ron. Go back to the punt. George Welsh made a decision to punt the football, punted it out to 1-yard line. He gets it back right now. Bowden wasn't ready for the football, broke. Stoops for the interception.
You know, I'm not sure that the quarterback was ready for the snap as well, as Jones takes it to the 10 and is knocked down hard after a gain of 2. Paulie makes the stop on him.
You go back again, Ron. A lot of people would have thought maybe George Welsh should have gone for the football. Wanky talking to Bolden, going over that play, but they forced the ball, punted the football inside the 1-yard line, and they get right back there when the 10-yard line was a turnover.
Address this. How many times people sit at home and say, oh, Winky, come on, horrible night, when the receiver is the one who crossed him up and makes him look bad.
Did not run the route the proper way.
Pressure off the corner, and he's going to be sacked. Ellis goes down hard. Jamal Reynolds, and it's the second time that the Seminoles have gotten to him tonight.
Ron, this is the same thing that happened last week. Not the same kind of a map tonight with the 3 interceptions, but last week against Clemson, if this defense didn't play, they were not going to get out of there with a win. Jamal Reynolds with a big sack beat Brad Barnes, the offensive tackle, and so Florida State's defense trying to stiffen here, forced a field goal attempt.
Dan Ellis pointing out blocking assignments, and they go with the running play. Here's Jones, has 5, has 10, he will score. Jones showing you exactly why he gets so much respect, not only in this league, but nationally and by the scouts.
Ron, he got a great block from Billy Baber, number 87, tight end.
Todd Braverman to try to make it a 7-0 Virginia lead. He's got it. So let's take a timeout. 12:04 left until halftime, and hang on, they're big underdogs, but as the Cavaliers of Virginia on top, 7-0 as Thomas Jones scores the touchdown.
Life is more exciting in Montana by Pontiac.
Hey guys, what you ordering?
Same as last week.
3 extra long chili cheese conies, add jalapenos, hold the chili with ketchup and onions.
Whoa, she's good.
I know what my customers like. One-of-a-kind stuff like our extra long coney, topped with chili and lots of cheddar cheese. Get one now with Sonic's famous tater tots for a special low price.
Sonic America, try this.
Our new apple pie shake tastes just like homemade apple pie.
AT&T, 7 cents a minute, all day, every day.
Take one of these. That'll be 25 cents.
But it says here it's a nickel.
Not for a couple of hours.
What?
Well, see, sometimes it's a nickel, but right now, it's a quarter.
It's like that long-distance nickel plan where they say it's a nickel.
Sometimes they charge you 25.
That's right.
That's where we got the idea.
Is that right?
7 cents a minute, all day, every day, even to Canada with our international plan.
You know, there are some stores that sell candy for one low price all day long.
And people like it?
Oh, they love it.
Call 1-800-41-RATE to enroll.
Kentucky battles Mississippi State.
Kentucky is well armed with Dusty Bonnet, but that Bulldog defense plans to apply heavy pressure.
Thursday at 8 on ESPN.
Thomas Jones on one knee on the sideline as this crowd has really gone crazy in the last couple of minutes, and rightfully so, as the #1 team in the nation trailing the Virginia Cavaliers by a score of 7-0. Winky, 3 interceptions, and we have played now 18 minutes of football.
Ron, they had the right call on because they caught Florida State in a blitz and hit the draw right up inside the blitz. Excellent job by the offensive line of Virginia.
Gardner and Bolden, the 2 deep men, as they look into the eyes of David Green, who prepares to kick it off. everybody who's wearing blue and orange and white on their feet and making a lot of noise. This is returnable. 9-yard line. It's Gardner. Stumbles as he tries to get to the outside and now heading the wrong way. Flag is down. And the tackle made shy of the 20-yard line is Angelo Crowell makes the stop.
Yeah, Angelo, brother of Jermaine Crowell. Fine wide receiver here at Virginia a few years ago. Now in pro football.
Penalty against Florida State. As I mentioned to you, they only returned it to the 17, and now more damage to come. And let's go back and look at the touchdown.
Okay, Ron, first of all, they had the great call on because it's a blitz. Watch both linebackers. They're going to come. So you have a nice call on. Now they're in man coverage. Now Thomas Jones breaks in the secondary, gets an excellent block from Billy Baber. Now watch the tight end. Man coverage. Now he's going to block on Chris Hope, and Thomas Jones going to take it right behind it. That's why there's nobody in center field. Blitz, man coverage, excellent call by Gary Franklin.
Also, Big John Sinclair, he got an influence heading to his right, allowed his man to take that step and then cut him off. So the hole was there. Adrian, let's check with you quickly.
On Thursday morning, the offensive coaches caught some tendencies in the Florida State defense they saw from the Clemson game, Ron and Mike, in the red zone. I'll give you the details of why that play works right after this snap, Ron.
Okay, Adrian. Cheney hit at the line of scrimmage by Shannon Taylor, and he may have lost a couple of yards on the play. Okay, Adrian, back to you.
After that tape session, Ron, they installed six new plays on Thursday at practice, which is very late in the week to do so. You'll see other plays, including perhaps a direct snap to Thomas Jones or a snap to him where he can throw the ball off of that, all because they caught little foibles in the Florida State defense. The result this time, 6 points for Virginia.
Well, they're playing it very tough right now with a 2nd and 12. Cheney breaks it out over the 10. He'll take it to the 12-yard line, and now it'll be 3rd down and still long.
Well, one of those little foibles, as Adrian was talking about, was that draw play. It was a perfect call. Whenever you add plays on Thursday as a coaching staff, you're always concerned because you're given a little bit more than you practice, and you don't want to do it. But if that draw was one of those plays, that really paid off for George Wells.
Florida State 0 of 3 on 3rd down conversions. Winky's pass, he's got it complete, and they'll move the chains as he'll be given forward progress to the 20-yard line. Dugan.
You can almost feel in this first half that they've done a nice job on Peter Ward. We haven't called his name a lot, and so they're throwing away from him now. Peter Ward's always going to draw double coverage from a linebacker, nickel back, cornerback.
He's caught 2 for a total of 7 yards.
You're not going to catch this one because he's on the sideline, so they don't have to worry about him here.
They got to worry about another guy that runs 4-2.
Yeah. Can't figure out who to double now.
Travis going to take it across the 21-yard line. Tweet, who has one of the interceptions tonight, makes the tackle.
Would you say the whole state of Virginia is pulling for Virginia tonight? With Virginia Tech up there with a 7-0 lead. Last score we saw.
Somebody said that first thing on Thursday. It's now 10-0. That that even the folks from Virginia Tech would be pulling for the Hokies tonight. Or would be pulling for Virginia, I should say. Going to go on top. Got it at the 40-yard line, and that is Robert Morgan. 38 yards on the completion, and just like that, a hush in the house.
Well, that's what Rick Lance told his team last night defensively. He said, hey, let's run around, let's have fun, no big plays. Well, put that one down as a big play. Robert Morgan against Antoine Harrison makes that catch and changes his field position. Good concentration on that pass.
By the way, that is a career long for Robert Morgan, sophomore out of East Point, Georgia. Jeff Cheney will take it for short yardage. He will hammer his way for around 3 to the 37. If you've just joined us, we're about to hit 9 minutes left until halftime, and it is Virginia 7 and the top-ranked Seminoles of Florida State nothing, but with their best drive of the night so far as distance.
They got Peter Warwick here, Ron. Don't have him doubled here. They're going to run the ball.
This is Miner. Gets a block from Mader. Spins around and going to fight his way for a couple of more yards. That'll be a first down and a nice second effort by Miner. And again, Chad Mader, who came in replacing Kendra, with a nice block on the play.
And again, run the football. When you get in trouble, go to the eye. Jeff Cheney, the fullback. Travis Miner gets the football again. Opens up a lot of things in the passing game.
Shannon Taylor comes out as Rick Lance will send in another defensive back.
See what he's doing, Ron? He's giving a hard count to try to get the coverage to where he can see what he's throwing against.
Here comes the all-out blitz, and the pass is caught. Boy, that is a nice move, but they covered him up.
Ron, exactly what Chris Wanke did. He's starting to give a hard count to try to get this secondary to move a little bit earlier. And now they got Peter Warwick outside where you can't double him now. Now he's one-on-one against Antoine Harris, so a little adjustment by Mark Richt of moving Peter Warwick outside, not using him as the inside receiver.
Under 8 minutes left until halftime. 7-0 Virginia. The running play, that is Cheney. Pushed back, but forward progress almost to the 20 as Isabel puts the stop on him, and it'll be third down and less than a yard.
Florida State now offensively starting to get things going a little bit in the running game and the passing game. Got a good mix in their play calling.
Now that South end zone stands and tries to make all the noise they can, and a flag comes down quickly.
Substitution penalty.
Violation, yep. Broke the huddle with 12 men, it looked like, Mike.
We have a dead ball foul, illegal substitution, breaking the huddle with 12 players. Offense, 5 yards, still third down.
Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
Ron, I have seen head coaches and coordinators talk to officials before the game and try and encourage them a little bit about some potential calls that might come up. But Rick Lance at the breakfast table this morning was talking to all these officials right next to the table that I was sitting at and said, you know what? I watched what these guys did last week against Clemson and how they substitute. Keep an eye open for it because I'll be on you on the field as opposed to sitting right next to you here at the breakfast table. So, 2 meals after the fact, Ron, mission accomplished for Rick Lance.
Breakfast of champions. They had 3 calls against them last week substituting against Clemson.
Timeout is called by Winkie as the play clock was going down to 2 and then 1, so very wisely he avoids the penalty. 7-0 Virginia. We'll be right back.
At Kimball Ford Mercury in Cedartown, we're Y2K ready. With 2,000 models arriving daily and with our guarantee of quality, service, and low prices, you'll have no worries here. When you buy from Kimball, you can rest assured you've made the best deal. So gear up for the millennium and make the short drive to Kimball Ford Mercury, your hometown dealership, serving the Floyd and Polk County area this century and the next. Kimball, conveniently located on South Main Street in Cedartown. Come prepared to save. Remember, at Kimball Ford Mercury in Cedartown, we do business one way, the right way.
Dewey Jowers Insurance Agency, in business since 1977. Barbara Hall & Hogg Insurance, in business since 1873. These agencies have come together to form a bigger, better company without losing the quality and tradition. The same friendly faces, the same quality service, all under one roof. With this addition to Dewey Jowers Insurance Agency, there is more companies to serve you. With 125 years experience serving Roman Point County, Dewey Jowers Insurance and Barbara Hall & Hogg together as one, all under one roof. Dewey Jowers Insurance Agency, 706 East 2nd Avenue in Rome.
They aren't just the nominees. They're the judges. The Players' Choice Awards, where the voting committee really knows what it takes to win. Friday at 8:30 on ESPN.
Dave Lee, Johnny Unitas, Muhammad Ali, and Michael Jordan
are among the greats in ESPN's Sports Century, the definitive book about sports in the 20th century. ESPN Sports Century, available at bookstores now.
Well, everybody's got their signs tonight, trick or treat, and that's what George Welch is trying to send a message to Bobby Bowden. Is it trick or is it treat? Right now, it has been a treat for Coach Welch. 7-0, but the top-ranked Seminoles are driving 9 plays, 66 yards. It is third down. They need to take it inside the 20. Winky's pass got it to Dugans, and that'll be enough for the first down. And in fact, when he spun around, he picked up about 4 more yards.
And Ron, here's, again, nice adjustment by Mark Richt as the ball game goes along. Now he puts Warwick inside. He's going to drive off, which is going to open up the inside receiver, Ron Dugans. Now, as he drives off, they give him a little cushion, and Dugans comes up underneath and makes the catch for the first down. Nice little adjustment.
Eric Thomas with the snap. The give is to Minor, reverses it at the 10, still on his feet to the 5-yard line, and it is first and goal, Seminoles.
Well, how about that cut? Now, he cut on a dime up inside there. Travis Minor, again, games against top 20. We talked about it last week, 102 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns, 30 receptions. He comes up big in big games.
First down for the Seminoles, the ball on the 5-yard line. 9 carries, 51 yards for Minor. And he'll get it again. Picks up a couple of tough ones, and they'll put it at the 3-yard line. Isbell from that middle linebacking spot makes the tackle.
Florida State's been good in this inside the red zone, inside the 20-yard line. The last 3 ball games especially. There it is, 9 for 11. 4 touchdowns. They'd like to have more touchdowns. They're putting points on the board, but forcing field goals. 5 of them.
Mader comes back in at fullback. Minor, the tailback. Winky sidearms it and throws it short. It is going to be third and goal. Dugans is the man he was looking for, but when the pressure came, he delivered it sidearm into the ground.
And Ron, I think because of a lack of running game down here, a lack of a power running game, that's why they're forced into so many field goals. They may be sitting on one again.
This drive, which started at the 1-yard line, 14th play of the drive, and they have covered 94 yards for the end zone. Touchdown, Florida State. It's Menace. And Mike Godfrey, that is the longest drive of the year. They had 97 yards against Miami. This is a 99-yard tote.
Well, Ron, they had a wonderful drive, good mix. Travis Minor, they motioned out. The underneath coverage went with him, and Marvin Menace caught the touchdown pass.
Janikowski with the extra point. It's up, and it is good. And we are tied at 7 with 5:22 left until halftime. We'll take a break as Travis Minor is their go-to guy, and again, he shows why.
Grandma, I quit my job.
What?
Done.
What about that rent you promised, Mark?
Internet.
Yeah.
The idea is giant, and I can work out of the house.
This house?
Yeah. I need a few things.
Data ports, meeting rooms, 24-hour business services, and catering.
What does this look like, a Holiday Inn?
Find out why more business travelers choose us over anyone else. Today's Holiday Inn.
The World Wide Web. 40 million sites. 800 million pages. 60 billion words. And one search engine that prioritizes, categorizes, and organizes it into neat little folders. Northern Lights. Just what you've been searching for.
When I grow up, I want to file all day. I want to climb my way up to middle management, be replaced on a whim. I want to have a brown nose. I want to be a yes man, yes woman. Yes, sir. Coming, sir. Anything for a raise, sir. When I grow up, I want to be underappreciated. Be paid less for doing the same job. I want to be forced into early retirement.
Check out the new Monster Talent Market, the first auction-style marketplace for freelancers.
Welcome back. Where you're tied. Florida State, #1 in the land, 7, and Virginia 7. Let's correct one thing that we said. We were given some misinformation. That was a 91-yard drive. The drive prior to that is the one that started on the 1-yard line. This one, following the kickoff and the penalty, began at the 9-yard line, following the half the distance to the goal penalty. So still, it may not be the best of the season, but 91 yards, any coach would take that at any time.
And now they get a chance to flip this field, Ron, because Sebastian Janikowski brought his right shoe tonight. He usually kicks it in out of the end zone so they can let their defense play.
The correct shoe. He's left-footed. I know what you meant, though. Here's the kick. I'll tell you, this is going to be returnable. He got under it. From the 3-yard line, Mason. Good heavens, what a hit at the 15. Brian Kenny, let's check back with you.
Ron, we get back to Virginia Tech and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh cut it to 10-7, but then Michael Vick dropped back and is going to put one into the air. Andre Davis is back there. Beautiful grab, nice toss, 37 yards, 17-7. Hokies up on top. Ron?
All righty, a lot of people interested in that score over in this part of the state as you look at Rick Lance. And Rick has to be extremely pleased with what his defense has done. They had 3 interceptions in the first half.
Now their offense is in the hole a little bit. They got to get the ball out of here.
Thomas Jones bounces it outside. Look at the move at the 20.
That's a great way to turn the field around again. Clavon Thomas, number 8, got caught inside and got faked out. He's replacing Tay Cody tonight, who's suspended for this football game.
71 yards from scrimmage for Thomas Jones.
Watch Clavon Thomas come up, number 8. He just gets faked, or number 9, he gets faked out. There's the move by Thomas Jones. And they flipped the field on Florida State's defense on one play.
Look at that Virginia bench jumping up and down. Thomas Jones, and there is a timeout on the field as George Welch is trying to catch him. He wants to be up close to see this with him. So we'll take a timeout. 7-7, and Virginia driving again.
History behind ACC football, but you haven't seen anything yet.
Hi, I'm Ellen Taves-Willick, and I've got a secret. It's nestled among rolling hills and towering pines, where Gothic archways for nearly a century and a half have welcomed young minds. It's where the spirit of service is measured against the spirit of history's heroes, and graduates go on to become governors, astronauts, and even the first woman to win a Pulitzer Prize in music. Perhaps you've heard of my secret to success.
Tied at 7. I told you Thomas Jones does everything. This was in between the plays. He's telling the people in the stands, hey, stand up, make some noise. And they are. The running play, and this is going to be knocked down for a loss as Roland Seymour comes back behind the line of scrimmage to make the tackle.
Florida State got hit on a draw play on the first touchdown.
It's interesting. That's the other thing I asked Thomas after practice the other day was, does Florida State talk to you very much? And he said, it depends on who has the leg up on whom.
Well, they're talking now.
Second down at about 12 and a half. They swing to pass out to him. That ball was tipped. Makes a one-handed grab, and now here he goes. He is tackled finally at the 12.5-yard line by Mario Edwards.
Ron, if they get that ball out there clean, but David Warren, number 99, tipped that ball. If they get that ball out there clean, Thomas Jones might get the corner turn. His great hands. Again, concentration. Now, everything is gone inside. Now, he gets the football clean. He's going to run a long way, but David Warren saved the day, tipped that ball, and got some help inside.
Third down at about 9. As you look at David, the junior out of Tyler, John Tyler in Texas. Ellis. Hit by Corey Simon. And it's going to be a fourth down situation. George Welch disappointed that they didn't get a shot into the end zone. They'll try for the field goal.
This is not a team you want to scramble against as a quarterback unless you're Swift. Dan Ellis just made a wise decision there. Sets the field goal up for Todd Braverman, who...
Braverman 5 of 8 on the year. His longest is a career-long 50 yards against North Carolina. This is nowhere close to that.
Won a game early in the year.
26-yard attempt from the left hash mark. Good pass, and I'll tell you, he got it. And, Mike, I think the Florida State player overran it. He was beyond the kick when it was made. Mario Edwards.
Close.
Let's check in again with Brian Kenny. Brian?
Ron, as we mentioned, Kansas hasn't beaten Nebraska in 30 years. They hadn't scored on them in 3 years, but with a 2-0 lead, Dylan Smith looking, gets David Hurst, 23 yards, 9-0. Kansas leads Nebraska, Ron.
Wow, is this basketball?
No. And Nebraska may be feeling the after effects of the Texas game.
A little hangover here. You're right. You look at Thomas Jones on the sidelines. What a night the young man has already had. Had that 71-yard run just a moment ago. And I believe he is at 104 right now on 13 attempts.
Well, George Welch has had a lot of good things to say about his running back. He said he's the best.
Or checking the replay. We'll look at it in just a second. No. Mario might not have been quite as far as we thought, but he was close.
Now, Todd Braverman gets rid of this ball quick.
David Green to kick it off. Virginia back on top, 10-7, as you look into the eyes of Anquan Bolden. This is Bolden from the 5. Now, he turned as it's a lateral, going to hold on to it, and will be tomahawked down at the 21-yard line by Dwayne Fisher. Well, coming up tomorrow, the Major League Soccer playoffs continue on ESPN2. The Dallas Burned with a thrilling come-from-behind series win against Chicago. Now head to Los Angeles to take on the Galaxy. Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals tomorrow at 5:30 Eastern. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.
They were going to throw a pass on that kickoff.
He was set to lateral that ball.
Former high school quarterback.
Swings this one out. Ball came loose, but he was out of bounds. Travis Minor.
Let's take a look at that last kickoff. Bolden was going to start to the right, and he was going to throw the ball back. He starts, and now he's going to throw the ball back to Gardner, number 21. Set up this return, but he just felt differently about it and tries to get as much as he can get.
Winky swings this one out to Minor. And good open field tackle by Antoine Harris, a senior out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Denying Minor the first down.
Yeah, 2 timeouts left for Florida State. And again, Ron, you go back to last week, Peter Warrick was more of an offensive threat in that ball game against Clemson than he's been here tonight. Virginia has kept him under wraps.
Great protection, and that ball is dropped, but he did throw it behind you, but Travis probably should have gathered it in. And it is a punting situation for Florida State. Now remember this, the return man for Virginia, because of the injury to Harris, is Thomas Jones. Can he electrify this crowd one more time before we go to halftime? Would you kick to him, Mike?
Well, Florida State has so much speed, Ron, they're going to get good coverage. I think I'd just air it out if I'm Cottrell. They're coming after the block.
Yeah, they are. They've left the gunners alone. And a kick is off the side of his foot. Jones signals for the fair catch, and he makes it at the 26-yard line. Brian Kenny, let's check with you quickly.
Yes, Ron, coming up on the Buick halftime report, we'll have Florida and Georgia in the rain. Chris Fowler and the game day guys are down there. Virginia Tech and Pittsburgh. Can the Hokies be impressive if they can win this evening? And also Nebraska's 30-year winning streak on the line and in jeopardy against Kansas. That's coming up at the half.
Okay, Brian. One of the things that everybody has to remember in looking at the BCS, because of schedule and strength of schedule, from here out, Virginia Tech stands to lose ground as far as strength of schedule. So if everybody above them maintains, they may have a tough time getting in.
Yeah, they just got to keep winning on the field and let all that take care of itself.
Ellis going to run it. He is collared at the 28 by Corey Simon. Corey picking up right where he left off last week. He is everybody's All-American, particularly the coaches. You got to love a kid like this who works so hard. Mike, he's about to get his degree, and he will have 3 minors. One of those is communications, and he thinks ultimately after pro football he'd like to give it a shot in the booth.
One of them's quarterback sacks too.
Almost knocked him down, and that pass is dropped, and probably just as well that McMullen couldn't hold on to it.
Yeah, he's one of the finalists for the Lombardi Award, so the people around the country have a great deal of respect for number 53, Corey Simon. Here he is working one-on-one.
Actually, they double on him here.
Yep, they get the double late. Do a pretty good job keeping him away from Dan Ellis on that play.
Jared Woodson, who's getting that start at left guard, combining with John St. Clair on the double. 3rd down and 8. And they put it in the stomach of Thomas Jones, and he is going to have the first down. Well, you can see that umpire running for his life, trying to get out of the way.
I can see what the NFL people are talking about as far as comparing him to Emmitt Smith, because he runs very low to the ground. He has great moves in the hole, works up the football field. He's a very good athlete.
Clock running, 32, now 31 seconds. Gets that one away, and it's McMullen, and he's going to be collared on a good open field tackle by number 1, Reggie Durden.
Virginia still has 2 timeouts to work with also, around with 21 seconds. They need to get down the field.
So with 21 seconds left, 10-7.
They're going to take one.
Well, coming up next Saturday on ESPN, Game Day starts you off at 11 Eastern, live from Knoxville, Tennessee. Then at noon, a Big Ten battle as Ohio State takes on Michigan State. Then at 7 o'clock, Mike, Adrian, and myself will be in Knoxville as Notre Dame comes to town. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.
Ron, the 2 best teams I've seen this year so far, Virginia Tech and Tennessee. And now Tennessee has a loss. But this had to be, or somewhere along the line, has to be a breakout game for Florida State. They need momentum going into that Florida ball game.
As far as momentum, Florida did knock off Tennessee, but Tennessee is one of those clubs that has continued to play better as the year has gone on.
They get some players back today. Travis Taylor's back, Ernest Graham's back, and once they start getting their full complement of players back, then they're still alive in the BCS also.
I'll tell you what, a team I had to be really impressed with what they did today with a lot of injuries is Alabama's win over Southern Miss.
It's a big win.
Southern Mississippi is a very good football team. From the shotgun. Right over the middle, and he just dropped it. Hawkins saw the pressure coming over, and he...
Go back to, again, last week, Ron. Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator, Florida State, Mark Richt, went in at halftime and got their ball club assembled. They came out and played a much better second half and got control of that ball game. Mickey Andrews and this staff, they've been through this. They've been on the road. They've been in tough ball games. They'll make the needed adjustments at halftime. Virginia just has to keep putting pressure on Florida State.
There's Mark Richt up in the coach's booth. This pass by Ellis caught out of bounds. Coffee just across the 50-yard line.
Trying to set up Braverman for one more field goal shot before half.
Remember what I said. Braverman's longest, career long, is 50 yards against North Carolina. And if that's going to be the case, Mike, they're going to have to move this ball down to around at least the 33, the 32, 31-yard line. And this is going to have to be the play they'll do it on.
Yeah, and they have to do it against Corey Simon and Seymour and Warren, and getting a pretty good pass rush on them right now.
Cavaliers lead it by 3, and they're looking for more. Ellis puts it on top. Defensive back Hawkins, or the offensive receiver Hawkins, had been held up by the defensive back. Ellis is down.
Yeah, Tommy Polley just leveled Dan Ellis.
6 seconds showing on the clock. Let's take a look at that hit, Mike.
Tommy Polley, number 29. It's going to come from the outside. There's the hit. Meanwhile, downfield, here's the action. Get Mario Edwards, number 15, gets Kevin Coffey. Looked like they collided.
Two receivers were very close, yeah.
Amon Hawkins and Coffey.
Could be the last play of the first half. Ellis takes another shot up on top, and it's going to be intercepted. Chris Hope cut over to pick the ball off, and with that, they head to the locker room. We are at halftime. George Welch and his guys always bring a special effort when Florida State comes to town, and tonight is no exception. It is halftime with our score, Florida State 7 and Virginia 10. Now with the Buick halftime report, here's Brian Kenny and Rodney Gilmore. Gentlemen.
Ron, thank you very much. We've seen this before, Rodney. Of course, against Miami, Florida State was tied up on Wake Forest by 6 at the half, and then down by 11 to Clemson. So the last 4 games now for the #1 team in the country, they're -8. So we've seen this.
It happens a lot. I mean, really, Virginia's done a great job of taking Peter Warrick out of the ball game. They've disrupted the rhythm to the Florida State offense. I look for them in the second half to do some reverses and screens to get Peter Warrick involved to try to get their rhythm going.
Meantime, this is a day where the have-nots are rising up. Navy, Iowa State, and Kansas. Kansas with a chance to win this game. In progress now against Nebraska. Again, haven't won against the Cornhuskers since 1968. But then Haydenfield punt blocked by Matt Jordan. 2-0 Kansas. Then later, Dylan Smith up in the air. Kansas driving, puts it to David Hurst. This 23-yard touchdown. At one point, Kansas had outgained Nebraska in yardage, 177 to 26. 9-0 right now. Jayhawks rising up. This is the longest continuous series in major college football. And again, it's a 30-year winning streak for Nebraska. Coming up, the Illini shock Michigan. Could they shock Rashard Casey and Penn State? How good are those Hokies? Michael Vick and Pittsburgh, and Florida and Georgia. The duel in the rain. We'll be back.
Do rich people deserve more space than the rest of us? Was technology meant to improve their lives alone? Do the stars shine for their eyes only? Introducing the special edition Century 2000. With so many unexpected amenities for an unexpected price, it's the first limited edition that isn't limited to the rich. The new Century 2000 by Buick, a luxury car for everyone.
The all-in-one, internet-ready Gateway Astro PC is so simple to set up. You'll have it up and running in less than one donut. Just $799 with an Intel Celeron processor. Call 1-800-GATEWAY.
You with the long face. Have a seat. Come in. I'm the 1-800-COLLECT advice guy. And you look like you could use some.
Yeah, I borrowed my dad's car. Me and my buddies drove up here for a little fun.
Boy.
Yeah, well, I didn't exactly ask if I could borrow it.
Give them a call. Use 1-800-COLLECT and save them $1 or $2. That way they'll forget about all the dumb stuff you've done.
Hey, should I tell them about the tattoo?
Depends where it is. Use 1-800-COLLECT. Save them $1 or $2.
This halftime report is presented by Park Avenue by Buick. Luxury, pure and simple.
All right, watching the #1 team in the country. What about the #3 team in the country as dictated by the polls and also Bowl Championship Series? Hokie fans will say we're not #3, and Hokie fans might have a point. Average margin of victory for the Hokies. Average score 43-8. #1 in scoring, #1 in defense. Check in now. Virginia Tech taking on Pittsburgh, and it was impressive early on. First of all, they're known for this. They lead the 90s in block punts. This, though, the first of the year for Virginia Tech. Andre Davis blocking the punt. Virginia Tech gets the football back on Pittsburgh. 2 plays later, Michael Vick off and run, just cuts back. He's sensational, but where's Pittsburgh, Rob?
Yeah, it didn't matter. Man-to-man defense, and they get into the secondary easily. Vick with a nice run.
More now for the Hokie. Pittsburgh, big old stand here, got back into it, scored a touchdown, had a long drive, but then Sharon Stiff going through, 10 yards for the touchdown. Virginia Tech now up on top, and it's 24-7 in the second quarter. About 2 and change left to go before the half. Again, Pittsburgh hung tough with Penn State, so a good barometer of strength in this game. Speaking of Penn State and Illinois, the Illini stunned Michigan only a week ago. 7-0 Illinois up on top, but back comes Penn State. Kevin Thompson to Shafi Field, 7-7, all tied up. Then Rashard Casey is in there. He's rolling. He's looking. He had so much. Tony Stewart there, 16 yards for the touchdown. It's 17-7. Same score, third quarter. Casey again. He's going to scramble, but don't be fooled. This is a very tough game, Rob.
A very difficult game for Penn State. They really struggled throughout this game. Their offense just couldn't get on track. 3 picks or 2 picks for Kevin Thompson. Casey came in to make a big difference for him.
27-7 is the final. 6 sacks by the Penn State defense. But again, this was a 7-7 game at the half. That's #2 in the country. Meantime, more unbeaten teams. Kansas State stays that way and big. 48-7 the final. And Marshall over Northern Illinois as expected. 41-9. Marshall did not penetrate, or rather Northern Illinois did not penetrate the Marshall 20-yard line. Still getting some field goals, so Marshall with the big win. Again, you can watch here now, Virginia up on top of #1 in the nation, and when the Hokies faced them, they pretty much dominated and put them away. Now we're going to see what happens with Pittsburgh, because they could be the best team in the country. They could prove it this week.
It's interesting watching these top 3 teams tonight. Penn State certainly didn't look good against Illinois. The wind in the third quarter really made the difference for them. They played a short field, and they took control of the game at that point. Virginia Tech is looking awesome in their ball game, and Florida State, once again, struggling. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some points shift in the polls based on these games. Maybe not a change in the rating, but some points may shrink a bit.
They have a hard time making a leap over another team. I mean, even if Penn State wasn't, I don't think a lot of voters are going to be doing that. But again, you know,
it take a few weeks, but you know, they're not playing that great right now.
Leaning that way. By the way, you also can vote in on ESPN.com and tell us who you think should be the #1 team in the country. That's on ESPN.com. Chris Wenke, in the meantime, picked off 3 times here. We're at the half. We'll be back.
There comes a point when one more word will ruin the story. When one more step will spoil the dance. When one more flower will crowd the arrangement. There comes a point when anything more is simply more. Park Avenue by Buick. Tasteful, elegant, refined. And right now, get the new Park Avenue with these 2 very attractive features. It's luxury, pure and simple.
Mom, Dad, if I'm paying rent, I gotta have a better breakfast than this.
Mark.
I know there's some dietary restrictions at the table, but no way.
What would you like, Mark?
Potato, sausage,
Would
eggs.
you like me to serve that to you in a nice warm skillet?
That would be great.
What does this look like? A Holiday Inn?
Want a better breakfast? Try our award-winning Best for Breakfast menu at today's Holiday Inn.
So, Butterfield, what do you think about the new CEO?
Well, sir, he's a good man. The job he did over at Vision Incorporated was really, really good. With emerging.
Brian, a lot more precincts will be reporting 2 weeks from tonight. That's when Miami visits Blacksburg, Virginia. Our situation here tonight, it's 10-7. The Cavaliers on top. And Mike Gottfried, we talked in the first half. Winky's having the finger pointed at him, but maybe a couple of misrun routes, but it has not been a good, sharp first half for him or the Florida State passing game.
Well, the people voting in that poll, they don't really think very much of Florida State right now, but this ball club will come on in the second half. Chris Winky's had a rough first half, gets the tip, the interception by Thweet, and then they get the double team on Peter Warwick. Jerton Nevins, the free safety, the freshman, with the interception. Then, not ready for the snap, gets the snap, throws off balance to Bolden, and gets that one picked off. 3 interceptions, not much offense. Peter Warwick hasn't been a big part of their offense. 3 catches for about 12 yards, so they're struggling on offense.
You might wonder if in this second half, particularly early in the third quarter, if Florida State might not start using Warwick as a decoy, as this kick is going to go well out of the back of the end zone. Virginia will take it over at the 20. Janikowski, always good for several of those in a ball game. And let's check again with Adrian Karsten. Adrian.
Ron, as Bobby Bowden puts it, here we go again. For the 4th consecutive week, we've got to control and win the second half, or we're not going to win the football game. A lot of the pressure is going to be on Corey Simon and his linebackers because their defense is getting killed by 2 plays especially. Thomas Jones on the draw, Thomas Jones to the outside. So now, Corey's got to take some of his aggressiveness away and stay at home. The linebackers got to move laterally to make Jones move laterally and try and shut him down that way.
Adrian, we have a change at quarterback. David Rivers, number 15, a junior out of Augusta, Georgia, has come in, and we'll get you to check on the sideline as Jones is pushed backwards, tries to at least get back to the line of scrimmage. He'll lose one, but see what you can find out what the thinking on the part of Virginia is, or if there was an injury to Ellis.
You almost got to figure there's an injury to Dan Ellis. You look at the statistics, 3 turnovers by Chris Winky and not effectively running the football. Look at the good field position by Virginia. Their defense is playing very, very well, and special teams doing a good job.
Well, that officially is a 3-yard loss as you look at George Welch on the sideline. Rivers gives it to Jones behind his blockers, which are just stalled at the line of scrimmage. That was Baber, the tight end, trying to block. Chris Hope is down at the bottom of that pile, and now it's going to be 3rd down and long. And hard to play against this defense behind the sticks. Right, Mike?
Ron, I'm trying to find number 17 down on the sideline. I don't even see him on the sideline. So, David Rivers, it's up to him right now.
Third down. They got to take it out to the 30. 5 of 10 for Virginia on 3rd down conversions. Rivers on top, got a man there and almost intercepted as Hawkins, the intended receiver, but that was Mario Edwards who had him covered step for step.
Ron, now, you mentioned it. When you get behind the sticks against them, you're in trouble, but you're in bigger trouble in the punt return team because Peter Warwick almost broke one earlier.
Donnie Scott, the senior out of Rockville, Maryland, stands back to punt. You can see number 9, the deep man, and here you just got to kick it away. You can't try to kick it away from him. They're coming after him, and it's off the side of his foot. This thing may not net 5 yards as a flag is down.
They may catch a break, Orana, because I think Florida State may be offside.
The flag at the 15-yard line, 12 yards in the kick, and there he is. Dan Ellis just now coming out of the locker room, and we'll find out what the problem was. Offsides against Florida State. Wow, they were going to get that football in awfully good field position.
That's the kind of mistakes you don't like to see. Concentration problem on defense. That's Bobby Bowden's really upset because his team had great field position around the 30-yard line.
So Donnie Scott gets to try it again. The youngster averages almost 41 yards at kick.
Florida State's a penalized football team. Oh, they catch a lot of penalties. There
The
you see
deep
him right
snapper,
now.
by the way, Rivers is the deep snapper for Virginia on the special teams, number 15. Much better kick this time. Very high. Warwick from the 34. Excellent coverage by the Cavaliers. That's Patrick Washington. Adrian Carson, what do you have for us down on the sideline?
Ron, we need to flash back to late in the first half as Virginia was on their last drive offensively of the first half. And quarterback Dan Ellis took two ferocious hits, one in particular. They're driving down to the south end zone. There's number one. There's number two. Really, number one did more damage. He doesn't remember anything from the first half, Ron. The decision is now they're holding him out for now. It's a serious decision.
Okay, Adrian. And you can see he's walking around. He doesn't have his headgear because the trainers have taken it away from him. Minor out of the backfield. Isabel will make the tackle at the 44. Also Shannon Taylor.
So David Rivers is going to be a busy man. He's got to play quarterback, snap the ball on the punt. So he's going to be...
Well, I'm wrong. He just picked up his headgear. Normally they do hide them.
He might be remembering what day it is. So he's got his helmet and ready to go in.
Those last two hits, there were some bad memories. Winky pulled down the long pass. Now there's the safety valve, and Minor dropped it. And you could see how long it took the blue jerseys to come into the picture. He not only had the first down, he had some more yardage coming his way.
Ron, credit Rick Lance, the defensive coordinator. He's a veteran defensive coordinator. He's done a very good job here for George Welsh. He was Howard Snellenberger's defensive coach down in Miami. Jerry Faust at Notre Dame. He's been around the block. And he's put a good defensive effort on Florida State tonight.
Here's Rick. Dan Kindra back in the lineup for Florida State, number 10. This one they get to Minor. Catches it. Gets by a couple of tackles, and he's going to have the first down. And this may be roughing the passer as a flag has been thrown at the 35-yard line.
Might be holding, too, Ron, on Thomas.
It is holding. You're right, Michael.
Yeah, Tarlis Thomas, number 60, is going to be called for holding. And again, we showed that graphic about how many times they've been penalized. Florida State, number 60, Thomas, working against Stamanich, who wrestled him down. I go back again, Ron. Peter Warwick, we talked about last week, 11 catches. He was the center of attention last week. 3 passes, 12 yards tonight.
Third down. They need to take it to the 49.5-yard line. Oh, my goodness, Dugans. They may have decoyed with Warwick that time, but I'll tell you, Dugans, as you can see, looked like the first guy out to the Warcott.
Yeah, Ron, he was so wide open that Chris Winkie would like to have that one back.
Stooks got turned around.
Chris Winkie looking over to Peter Warwick, then comes back to Dugans. You can see how far open he is ahead of Dwayne Stooks.
Thomas Jones is back deep. After with his third punt of the evening. Thriving spiral. Jones all the way back to the 17. Thomas, as he slowed down, really got attacked hard from behind. 12:31 left in the third quarter. Still Virginia by 3.
Which Sports Center do you watch? Now at 6 p.m. only on ESPN.
The rugged Montana from Pontiac. With seats that create space on demand.
I need more room!
Pretty handy when you need room fast.
Never seen a minivan do that before.
Maybe it's not really a minivan. Life is more exciting in Montana. Like Pontiac.
You know, you can't accept less from life. Because then you'll accept less from your work. And then you'll accept less from your weekends. And the next thing you know, you'll accept less from your beer. And you just can't accept less from your beer, because then you'll start accepting less from guys who install satellite dishes, and you might lose reception during an important football game. And hey, that's just wrong. Ice brewed so there's never any watered-down taste. Ice House. Enjoy.
This is awfully sweet of you, Mrs. Anderson.
Well, I like for newcomers to feel at home in the neighborhood.
Well, I'm sure they appreciate it.
I hope so. They seem like such nice people. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Colossus Bakery can help you welcome some old, new friends to Cleveland. Thank you.
And I'll need that plate back.
But bring your Visa card, because Colossus doesn't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere NFL fans want to be.
ESPN's presentation of primetime college football is brought to you by Visa. It's everywhere you want to be. So welcome back to Charlottesville. Virginia continues to lead 10-7 as we're in the early going of the third quarter. And David Rivers continues to operate at quarterback, replacing Dan Ellis. Play action by Rivers. Got it complete to Crawford. And the big tight end finally knocked out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Let's show you during the timeout what happened with Ellis. Now, as Adrian told us, here he is in the offensive huddle, walking around and talking to the other players, and here's his head coach. And George Welch, with a smile on his face, telling Dan to go down and visit with the team doctor.
Get some air. David Rivers with a nice play fake on that last play.
Team doctor walking into the picture, talking with Dan. And it would appear that they're not going to let him see any action. Goes on top in this one and almost intercepted. And a flag comes down at the 30-yard line.
Ron, all of a sudden, David Rivers becoming the man of the hour here at Virginia. Trying to hit Billy McMullen on a long pass. Mario Edwards going to be called for holding. I like the play calling, too, by Gary Tranquil. You bring in the second quarterback. You're ahead 10-7 against the #1 team in the country. A lot of guys might get conservative. What does he do? He's airing it out. There's the call on Billy McMullen. Gives confidence to David Rivers, trying to get the ball here to the freshman receiver. That will open up Thomas Jones a little bit, too, throwing the ball downfield.
Rivers, 6'3", 219, a junior out of Augusta, Georgia. Thomas Jones right up the middle, breaks it back, has 5, has 10. Inside the 30 to the 29. It's a gain of 15 yards.
When you start throwing the ball downfield with your second-team quarterback, then that loosens up those safeties a little bit. They can't sneak up there for the running game. Then you pop Thomas Jones in that they're ahead in the play calling right now. Good blocking, especially by John St. Clair, the center. And then Thomas Jones gets in that secondary. He's a powerful runner.
First and 10, Virginia. They say his knee went down at the 30-yard line. Jones again to the other side. Cuts it back into the middle. Good heavens, what a hit by Bobby Rhodes.
Well, in the first half, Thomas Jones was off and running on the draw play. Hit it for a touchdown. Dan Ellis, Billy Baber with a nice block, number 87. He gets in the end zone. Then he changed the whole field position. With this move on Clevon Thomas, the corner, and breaks into the secondary and gets all the way down to about the 20-yard line. Then the tip pass, he caught.
Back to live action. They give it to him again. Look at that move at the line of scrimmage. Breaks 2. And the third tackle he won't break because he's shoved out of bounds by Derek Gibson.
You know, a lot of the pro teams watch the games on Saturday night because they're in hotels, and we talked about the comparison to Emmitt Smith, one of the great ones in college football and the pros. Thomas Jones making a name for himself here at the University of Virginia.
In case you have just joined us, you're looking at Dan Ellis, who is on the sideline, the starting quarterback for Virginia, and 2 really hard licks at the end of the first half, and that's the reason that he is not in the game. Rivers has replaced him, and David has done a very fine job. Didn't get that playoff, though, and it's going to be a costly 5-yard penalty. Instead of 3rd down and about 3, it's going to be 3rd down and 8.
And you were bragging on him, and I was just getting ready to say he's done a remarkable job, but he has. That's an error that sometimes comes in from the sideline too late.
See what George said. Yeah. Call a timeout.
But what happens in practice is the first-team quarterback gets all the reps. Second-team guy gets a couple every now and then, but he has to learn by watching. But all of a sudden, you're thrust into the ball game. Biggest game of the year. And I like the way David Rivers has come into this football game.
We saw them attending to Jones on that really hard tackle by Bobby Rhodes. He suffered a cut on his nose, and they're having to attend to that right now. That, by the way, is the first Virginia penalty of the night. Backside pressure. He is down by Pauly, and it is 3 times that they have gotten Virginia quarterbacks tonight.
And they may have taken him out of field goal range, which is going to be a decision by George Welsh right now. Didn't see it coming on the backside. Play action pass. Tommy Pauly snuck up late on the play and came from the left side, made the tackle on Rivers.
You're right, Mike. Number 90, Donnie Scott, checks into the lineup, and if he does in fact kick it, it'll be the 5th punt by the Cavaliers this evening.
Again, Florida State not sending anybody back, which I think is a mistake.
There's the kick. High. It's going to be too far. Booty just went into the end zone. Now, the interesting thing, and we were looking through the glasses, and again, Rivers did the long snapping. You have to wonder how long they can go with him since he's now the quarterback.
I'll tell you how long they're going to go for him with all the whole game because they have so much confidence in him snapping the football. They're not going to take him out of there.
The Jones Show. That's what it's been.
Gentle, Donald. Slowly. Okay. That's good.
How much you want for your pot? 500. 600.
Introducing Cozone.com, the place to find computer help and buy what's right for you.
Hey.
Hey yourself.
Cozone.com. We can help.
Look out, motorists. Old Man Winter's out to get you.
You're cold and cool and you don't fight there. That's okay. See if I can.
No matter what winter throws at you, Prestone Antifreeze is how you fight back.
Hit me with your best shot.
Kick Old Man Winter in the teeth with the #1 way to fight corrosion and protect your aluminum radiator to 84 below.
Hit me with your best shot.
Get in the Prestone zone so nothing can stop you now.
You know, my first racing days were pretty rough. With my wheels set so close together, I was always getting loose in the turns. Now that I'm trading paint with the big boys, wider is better.
With speed-sensitive steering, the White Track Grand Prix delivers precise control in the corners. No wonder it's been selected official pace car of NASCAR.
There's no getting around it. Wider is...
The White Track Grand Prix. Wider is better. By Pontiac.
Rocky Top and the Irish. Don't miss this one. Please.
Notre Dame, Tennessee at 7:30 next Saturday on ESPN.
Thomas Jones on the sidelines. They have patched up the bridge of his nose where he suffered the cut. Look at his numbers on the night. And boy, was he upset when he had to come out. He felt he let his team down because he was not there to help him get the first down. Meanwhile, Travis Minor loses his footing. That's the second time. Travis cuts really hard, has a low center of gravity, but his feet went out from under him, and it's going to be only a short gain.
Ron, you go back to that play that happened when Rivers got sacked. They had the ball, I believe, on the 30-yard line, so then they got knocked out of field goal range. Here's the play right here. They get knocked out of field goal range. He goes back to pass, gets tackled. Now they have to punt the football, and it goes in the end zone, so they really only gained about 10, 15 yards on that punt. So that was a big exchange by Florida State.
Winky fakes the run, then throws his pass complete to Bell, and Bell with the broken tackle and second effort. Did he have the first down? Let's see where they spot him out. It looks as though he does at the 30.
Cruz Bell, number 26, should have been tackled for a couple-yard gain, but he picked up the first down. Good quickness.
Under 10 minutes to play, third quarter. Pressure continues as that pass thrown complete to Bolden. And now, all of a sudden, Florida State looks as though, as they are saying, all right, do what you want as far as number 9 is concerned. We got a bevy of other receivers we're going to go to.
Yeah, just a little arrow route there. But Peter Warrick is a guy that can change this game around with one catch. He can put you on the lead right away.
2nd and 5. The first down. Ron Dugans deep over the middle. Double coverage on him. Angelo Crowell, as Mike mentioned in the first half. His brother, of course, the outstanding wide receiver here. To gain of 12. And Florida State last week at about this time served notice that they were alive and well. Thank you.
Yeah, they were taking over the ball game, but it's been a rougher performance for their offense tonight. They haven't been as smooth here in the second half. Cross midfield. You know, Ron, and you start to think Brian Kenny and Rodden Gilmore were talking about that poll, and you talk about people watching. Virginia Tech came in here and really handled Virginia. And Florida State's struggling in here.
The pass is incomplete, well underthrown.
You talked about the schedule, Virginia Tech, which is going to hurt them as they go along. But you ask Virginia right now, and I asked some of the coaches about Virginia Tech and Florida State, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the ballgame.
Keep one thing in mind. The emotion by Virginia Tech against Virginia, though, as cross-state rivals, is going to be a little higher than Florida State.
Yeah, but Virginia should be as high as for Virginia Tech as they are against Florida State.
3rd down and 8. They need to take it to the 41 and a half as Winky, under pressure, got him open. Dugans at the 35, and he's going to take it all the way inside the 20. Tweet finally made the tackle.
Well, Chris Winky doesn't look great when he starts moving around, but he saved the day on that play. He bought enough time to get the ball to Ron Dugans. Good pressure. He danced out of the pocket. Here, Virginia, there's a cheap fake right there. Virginia starts to collapse the pocket. He starts to run, and then he throws the ball as he's going down and catches Ron Dugans down the field.
Minor, wow. He was headed south and wound up going north. That was Crowell with the tackle.
Well, Virginia always has linebackers, don't they?
Yep.
They do a good job of recruiting linebackers, bring them in here, moving guys to linebackers. They've had some great ones here.
Angelo, only a freshman out of Winston-Salem. As you look at Thomas Jones on the sideline, his ball club leads it 10-7. 7.5 minutes left, third quarter. Big opening, breaks one, will not break the second tackle. And Minor finally stopped by Spruill.
Well, do you go to Peter Warrick here? 3rd third down, you got to have it. You look for number 9.
With a 4 wide out set, he's going to get single coverage. You know that. Sings it, has it complete. That's Menace, and fights his way. Morgan, I beg your pardon, 87. And he will take it for the first down at the 1-yard line.
They used Peter Warwick as a decoy, Ron. Robert Morgan, 87, is going to come in right behind him. This route's going to be right down here, clear out, and come underneath by Morgan. Shannon Taylor, number 9, the linebacker, so worried about Peter Warwick, he's running right with him.
He lost the ball. On the football. Alton was in the game at quarterback, which they do on occasion on short yardage situations.
Ron, you can't get that ball any closer to the goal line that Virginia's got to take it over with. Well, they're not out of the woods yet. Florida State didn't score, fumbled the ball. Outson trying to go over the top. Gets a good hit. Ball comes out. Virginia gets it. They're on the inch line.
Rivers with the quarterback sneak.
Here's where you get a tough time if you're coaching right here, Ron, because you got your backup quarterback, you're backed inside the 3-yard line. You got to get out of there, because if you don't get a first down, you're kicking the ball to Warwick again. They're going to be right back down there on you.
Marcus Outson, as we mentioned last week, the starting quarterback in the national championship game last year because of the injury to Winky.
They're going to gang the run here, too, Ron. They're going to figure Rivers is going to hand the ball off to Thomas Jones.
Well, they did just that, and he is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Rackley, one of the first men down at the bottom of the stack. Also, Bradley Jennings, number 44. And now it's a third down situation.
Here's what you get, too, on the outside, Ron. You get tight coverage on the receivers, figuring they're going to try to throw an out. You're going to, again, gang Thomas Jones in there with 8 people trying to stop the run here and try to set up a punt situation. Stop him here.
Jones and Thomas fighting his way for every inch he can get so that they can punt maybe with 15 yards for the snapper to get the ball back to the punter. And it was Corey Simon who took his feet out from under him.
And now they forced the punt. Reggie Durden's back to return the punt. Mickey Andrews did exactly what he wanted to do defensively there.
Rivers, the quarterback, now moves up over the football, and he is the man who handles the long snap to Donnie Scott. Good kick off the side of his foot again, and they're going to say out of bounds at the 30-yard line. So it's a 25-yard kick, and we'll take a timeout. 4:09 remaining, third quarter. Virginia still leads by 3 points.
System ever. Perfect for the stop and go of rush hour traffic. Check one out at your Jeep dealer.
Dewey Jowers Insurance Agency, in business since 1977. Barbara Holland Hog Insurance, in business since 1873. These agencies have come together to form a bigger, better company without losing the quality and tradition. The same friendly faces, the same quality service, all under one roof. With this addition to Dewey Jowers Insurance Agency, there is more companies to serve you. With 125 years experience serving Rome and Floyd County, Dewey Towers Insurance and Barbara Hall and Hogg together as one, all under one roof. Dewey Towers Insurance Agency, 706 East 2nd Avenue in Rome.
Every team has a player the opposition has marked as the one who must be contained. When the Kings meet the Penguins, it'll be Robitaille and Yager who wear the X. Kings Penguins, Tuesday at 8, only on ESPN.
This is not a car. It's a fantasy. Oh, yes, it sits quietly now, like a beast waiting to pounce, like a libido ready to explode. Champ Car Racing on ESPN.
Very disappointed Marcus Outzen, who fumbled that ball just a moment ago. But, Mike, the truth of the matter is Chris Wenke, who had this serious neck injury a year ago in this ballgame and had to have surgery, they don't like to use him in quarterback sneaks. That's the reason Marcus comes in.
Yeah, he's a good athlete, and you want to get him some playing time. Usually that's what they do, bring him in the 1 yard line. He didn't secure the ball in the play.
Two tight end alignment for the Seminoles. Direct handoff to Warwick. Turns the corner. And a nice job defensively as Virginia just strung that thing right out. Brian Kenny, what do you have?
Well, Ron, you know, Florida State fans and Penn State fans rooting for Pittsburgh to keep it respectable against the Hokies. 27-7 at the half, but David Priestley to Antonio Bryant in the third quarter, so now it's 27-14. Ron?
All righty, Pittsburgh at home, not only trying to make it respectable, trying to pull an upset of their own. As the pitch goes back to Miner, penetration. Miner does a great job of picking up something here that there was just nothing left. As Monsanto Pope was the man who came through with the penetration and should have dropped him for a loss, actually.
Ron, Monsanto Pope had his knee sprained, the 6th play of the North Carolina game, just getting back. Rick Lance is playing him at defensive end tonight. Usually plays defensive tackle, and he's been playing outstanding.
Third down. Warwick, and they get the ball to him. Pushed out of bounds just beyond the first down marker.
It's almost like they say, now let's get the ball to Pete. Let's start calling some plays that we're going to get the ball in the hands of Peter Warwick.
Seminoles with no huddle, trying to make sure that Rick Lance does not get any multiple substitutions into the ball game defensively. Got him open over the middle. Touchdown Minute. His second of the night.
Ron, that's why that was so big in the fumble that Mickey Andrews, Florida State, kept them inside the 5-yard line, forced the punt, came right back at him.
Sebastian Janikowski missed a couple of field goals last week because the managers forgot to pack his kicking shoe, but he has the proper shoe this week, and he knocks it through his second point of the night, and Florida State goes back on top by a number of 14-10.
They worked Marvin Minnis on that last play, the touchdown, down the middle of the field. Pretty good fake right there to Miner, and a good throw by Chris Wenke. A missed tackle by Jerton Evans, the free safety, allows him to get in the end zone.
And watch what Jerton does here. A lot of times a player has a tendency to go for the kill rather than the sure thing, and he didn't lock it up.
Too high.
Yeah. Tried to hit him with a head-high shot and just went right over the top of him.
You know, when you play Florida State, they're one play away. They got so many athletes. You got to do everything right.
Well, our lineup next Saturday on ESPN2, noon Eastern time, Minnesota takes on LeVar Arrington and the second-ranked Penn State Nittany Lions. 6 o'clock, Arkansas battles Ole Miss, that game in Oxford. And at 9 o'clock from the Mountain West, Wyoming visits Utah. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.
Minnesota goes from Ohio State to Purdue to Penn State. They've lost 2 of those last ball games after jumping off to a good start.
Dan Ellis continues to walk the sidelines, and Adrian, who is right on top of it, down on the sideline. said the report is that he might be there for the remainder of the third quarter, and then they will reevaluate. So we got about 3:10 left in the third. And Adrian, let's check with you on that.
Reevaluation now complete. Possible minor concussion, doubtful for the rest of this game.
Okay.
So now the responsibility falls on Rivers. But you can understand, Ron, when you take a look at this hit and watch the way his head hits the turf right there.
This is one ball club, Adrian, that knocks quarterbacks out of the game.
Standing up on the bench, obviously disappointed that he cannot participate. 7 of 14, 44 yards for him. Hawkins in motion. Rivers, nothing there, and now he feels the wrath of Corey Simon, who just continues to impress, and he is such a steady ball player. Interesting, the respect that center John St. Clair has for him, but yet in talking with Corey yesterday, a mutual respect for big number 50, because he said, I think that he is an extremely fine center, maybe as good as I'll go up against this year.
Both talented players. Second half, Ron, again, Florida State's defense been the difference in this second half, just like they were last week.
See the corners come up to bump, and then they back off. Rivers throws, got it complete to Jones. Then a couple of people out there on him, and finally Reggie Durden will bump him out of bounds. Reggie only 5'9", 175, but plays a whole lot bigger than that.
Well, you did a good job by Brian Allen there breaking down on that tackle. First half and second half, Florida State's defense, they seem to go into the locker room, and they get a lot of things thrown at them new. Every week, somebody tries something different against them that they haven't shown in the past. And it takes time for McAndrews and his defensive assistants to get everything organized.
Well, Virginia right now only has 35 second half yards, and that ball is intercepted. And there he is, Corey Simon. He's got to be on your All-American team. I don't care who else you think is awfully good.
Ron, there's no doubt he's probably making headway toward the Lombardi tonight. Corey Simon. Jerry Johnson really put pressure on David Rivers. Number 92 comes after him, zone blitz. Corey Simon drops back, makes that catch. And
now, how good a mobility is that when you look at the youngster weighs like 280 pounds at 6'4", he broke nicely on that football.
And they're trying to get the ball to Thomas Jones. An excellent call by Mickey Andrews, again, the defensive coordinator. Knew they were going to try to get that ball to the tailback.
Here's the reverse. Bolden, not much doing. That is a nice defensive job. Shannon Taylor, congratulations, young man. He was not fooled on the play.
Ron, this is the ball game right here. Because if Florida State punches a touchdown in, then I think it'd be Church's out. Because I don't think Virginia can get back offensively. But if they can hold them at least 3 points in, then they're still alive in the ball game. I don't think they can score two times against the Florida State defense.
Winky got it away. This is Kendra, the big fullback. Kendra, good heavens, puts a head down and almost takes it to the 10. It's a gain of 18. And it was Shannon Taylor who was all over Chris Winky.
Chris Winky makes his play. But Dan Kendra shows you a little flash after he catches the football. Here's the fake. Chris Winky's under pressure. Taylor's going to be after him. Throws the ball sidearm to Kendra, but watch Kendra make the move on the defense and gets upfield.
And it's on plays like that that Chris Winky has to say to himself, boy, baseball would be a lot simpler, wouldn't it? The pitch to Minor. Travis cuts it up, then backs out, and he is at the 5.5-yard line. Antoine Harris has him wrapped around the ankle. Kendra again with a paving block for his tailback.
Ron, I keep saying that Virginia needs to, they can't let them get in this end zone and get a touchdown.
Seconds left, third quarter. Minor, touchdown, Florida State. And then the coach's booth to our left, they stand with their arms high because they know with that defense how big that score is, Mike, just as you pointed out.
Yeah, Ron, you can pick up the hymnals because this defense is not going to allow Virginia to go down the field and get 2 scores on the board.
No more songs tonight.
No more songs. Pick up the hymnals.
Old book or new book?
Both books. Church is over.
Well, we'll ad-lib them if there's any more singing. Janikowski knocks it right down the middle. 30 seconds left in the third quarter. And George Welch knows that as well as his football team has played, as has been pointed out by Coach Gottfried here in the booth, the 21-10 is a tall mountain against this Florida State team.
Well, Travis Minor just shows you his strength. He must have excellent lower body strength because very difficult to tackle him. See him make those moves. There's a tackle. There's another guy.
Did you see the block by Kendra?
Yeah, Kendra with a nice block.
And let's check in with Brian Kenny. Brian?
Well, Ron, this was a shocker as well. Kansas leading Nebraska 9-3. Jayhawks, though, punting to Bobby Newcomb. Former quarterback gave up that spot to the team, and Bobby Newcomb off and running. Off he goes. 86 yards all the way back. So Nebraska does take the lead for the first time in this game. 10-9, getting ready for the fourth quarter. Ron?
Well, you knew that the Huskers were not going to roll over and play dead at home. The one thing that you have to wonder about him is... I'm sorry? Oh, on the road. Okay. The one thing that you knew, though, that Nebraska's had a problem with is they have been a tad one-dimensional. That is, that they throw off trick plays, but they are primarily a running game. And if you stuff that...
I think the rushing team, rushing was in the top 5. Their pass offense was like in the hundreds in the NCAA ranking.
Dan Kendra on the sideline. And, you know, for team players, a guy like him, a great block is just as exciting maybe as scoring a touchdown as Sharon Dorsey.
And Ron, he made a great play on the link he passed him because he showed some movement and got an extra 5-6 yards. So
whatever it takes.
Team game. Former quarterback, wanted to be a quarterback. Other schools recruited him, thought he'd be a linebacker, but he's doing what he's necessary to win.
Look who's in the bullpen. Dan Ellis, the junior out of Exton, Pennsylvania. They're letting him loosen up, so maybe the doctors will give him the green light in the fourth quarter. This is returnable. Mason.
Last week in the second half, Clemson was 0 for 7 on third downs against this defense. Mickey Andrews went in, made the adjustments, came out, shut down Clemson. Tonight, same thing in the second half.
Look at this, Mike.
Yeah, 34 yards in the second half. And again, another nice adjustment by this defense. They've taken over this ball game.
10 rushes, 14 yards, Virginia, second half. Thomas Joe. Reggie Durden will trip him up, but it's a gain of 6, a very quick 6.
And the coaches from Virginia, when we talked to them today at the hotel, they felt like they could run the football against Florida State. They've been successful.
2 seconds, now 1, and that is the end of the third quarter. As Dan Ellis stands on the sideline talking with the team physician, we'll find out if he is ready to come in the ball game after we take this time out. Florida State 21, Virginia 10.
I'm Buzz, and
I'm Shirley Rosalini.
And that's Shirley.
We're people. We switched the autos to State Farm because I was tired of punching numbers. We dialed a 1-800 number, hit an asterisk, hit a pound sign, and never did know who we were talking to.
They don't have to hit a pound sign to talk to me.
When I need to call my agent at State Farm, he knows who I am, and I know who he is.
I can talk to Gary like a friend.
I even insure their golf carts.
Like a
good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You can't imagine the tension, Dad. Jamie was our last hope.
Phone calls like this are just too important to rush.
Their picture was huge.
That's why we always dial 10-10-3-2-1.
And then Jamie really smashed it.
With 10-10-3-2-1,
Our calls over 10 minutes are half off. That's just 8 cents a minute, day or night. And at 8 cents a minute, we can talk as long as we want.
Grandpa wants to talk. I won the game.
Talk as long as you want with 10-10-321.
The inspiration for the new LeSabre didn't just come from the research center or design facility. It also came from your family. Introducing the all-new 2000 LeSabre, re-engineered with more safety features than any other car in its class. The new 2000 LeSabre by Buick.
I'm from AXA Advisors.
AXA Advisors. Yes.
That's a new name.
For thousands of financial professionals like me
And me.
we help people take the long view, achieve goals like college tuition,
A secure retirement.
a better life,
It's all based
on a relationship, a long-term relationship, and soon, very soon,
We can start working.
together.
Building your future.
AXA Advisors, building futures.
United employees are doing what they can to make air travel better. Rising is performance.
Florida State 21-10, and Mike, you remember last week against Clemson, until the field goal attempt at the end of the game, Clemson in the second half only had 29 yards and 2 first downs.
And Ron, they've only had 3 first downs here in the second half, trying to get number 4.
Jones tries to turn the corner, and he does. Thomas off and running. 40, 45, out close to midfield. Gibson makes the tackle on him.
Nice block by Anthony Southern, the fullback, and Paul Shadell has to be pleased with his offensive line. 18-yard gain. The offensive line staying low against this Florida State front. Gets them sealed inside. Gets a nice block out of Southern. Thomas Jones on the outside.
Well, all he needs is 1 more yard to hit his average, which is 158. Average per carry. Most running backs don't come close to half of that against Florida State. Counter Trey. Here's Jones. He's got his average and about 3 more. Hope up from the secondary.
And that's exactly what you're going to get in this second half. You talk about Chris Hope coming up from the secondary. Safeties are going to be up tight on him. As you see, Tomlinson, TCU leading the nation. He plays at Hawaii later on tonight.
Darren Davis, Iowa State, averaging 156.7. Driver swings it out to Jones. Got a blocker, and he'll take it across midfield. And now they're going to be about 3 yards shy. It'll be 3rd down. Reynolds defensively.
I think David Rivers has played very well.
Oh, I do too.
Except for the interception coming in the second half. Field position's not been good for him. Needs a drive right here to keep Virginia in this ball game.
Well, considering that Rivers' numbers coming into the ball game, like he was 1 of 2 for 11 yards. That's all he had thrown. Tonight, Virginia 0 of 4, actually this half, on 3rd down conversion. Here comes the pressure, drills the ball, and he threw that one a little too hard to McMullen, who was covered. You know what's interesting?
Team in here.
You see that backside pressure, and we're talking about big defensive linemen in pursuit, just running as fast as the backs do. Some of them.
Speed. Florida State's always had it, always will have it.
Reggie Durden is going back on a single safety. Scott on his last kick. This is his 7th, by the way. Only 25 yards. And it is blocked. And that's Corey Simon, who got a hand on it. It does go across the line of scrimmage and goes dead at the 28. And what else can Simon do? An intercepted pass. I don't know how many tackles he had. And now a partially blocked kick. Corey Simon, well, is just serving notice that, yeah, that Lombardi Trophy should have his name on it.
Yeah, there's a guy at Virginia Tech named Moore that he's still fighting for that trophy, too. But Corey Simon tonight, you're right. He can't do any more than he's done. I think this, again, is a punt safe, and he just comes free, gets his hand on this football. He's had a wonderful night.
Cheney in the ball game, number 24. He gets the handoff. Going to be hit behind the line of scrimmage. Shannon Taylor leading the attack as they got penetration.
Rick Lance said Shannon Taylor might be the most athletic linebacker we've ever had here. That's saying a lot about the senior. Rick Lance has done his job tonight. He's kept not a lot of big plays for Florida State. His team is running around making plays on defense. They need a turnover.
Winky under pressure, and he is sacked by Mayfield. First time that they sacked him tonight. Now let's check in again with Brian Kenny. Brian?
Ron, back to Nebraska and Kansas. Eric Crouch said after they lost last week to Texas, we have to try to stick together. And after a miserable first half, Crouch bouncing through, and now Nebraska does lead Kansas 17-9. Ron?
Well, there's that option that they run extremely well. Travis Minor back in the lineup at tailback. Third down and about 20. Minor fighting across the 20 out to the 22. Maurice Anderson will stop him.
Good series by the defense, Ron. They did a nice job after the block kick coming in, 3 and out, with Thomas Jones in. See if he can return the punt.
Fourth punt by Florida State tonight. Flag goes down, and somebody flinched over on the left side. Cottrell is glad they did, although it took a huge Florida State bounce. But that one was off the side of his foot. They're going to walk back 5.
Dead ball foul. Ball start by the offense. 5 yards, 4th down. Ron, when a defensive team starts moving around like that on the punt, you're better off just send your punt team out, snap the ball before they start to try to confuse you on your blocking assignments.
Another one off the side of his foot. Line drive, but this may take a huge Florida State bounce. And it does. It's going to go dead at the 30-yard line. 53 yards on the kick. So we'll take a break. 10:55 left in our game. Florida State 21-10.
ESPN Sports Century. Available at bookstores now.
No, it's too red. Too dark. It's going to be perfect.
You can get enough orange and blue to last a season at Lucas Paints in Denver, but bring your Visa card, because they don't take American Express. Visa is everywhere NFL fans want to be.
Hello? Server? Got it.
Total participation, and this means everyone, all working to make sure you get the absolute best experience possible.
Mr. Thurber, you're all set.
Introducing 5-Star, a new approach to selling and servicing cars and trucks. It's better. We'll prove it. Only where you see these signs.
I like to think of myself as an innovator who started a company, Dell Computer, around an idea.
that everybody should be doing business directly with one another, one-to-one, with no barriers. To me, that's the power of the Internet. We'd like to show you how to empower your business in ways you've never imagined. I'm Michael Dell, and it's our reason for being. Be direct.
Dell. Dell servers use Intel Pentium 3 processors.
ESPN's presentation of primetime college football is brought to you by Chrysler, engineered to be great cars. And by Dell Computer, pioneering direct internet ideas for your business. Be direct. Dell. Welcome back to Charlottesville. Ron Franklin, Adrian Karsten, Mike Gottfried, and that's what we have left in the fourth quarter. 10:55. Interesting, that was the longest kick of the year by Cottrell. 53 yards. About 30 in the air and 23 on the ground, but it doesn't matter. There was no return. Double reverse, Mason. Thomas makes the tackle.
Good call by Gary Tranquil. When you get a good, fast defense that likes to flow and they like to blitz up inside, a reverse is a good call. And you give the ball to Thomas Jones, everybody's going to run with Thomas Jones, and then he gives it up to Mason for the first down. But I do believe David River is going to have to throw this ball down the field, Ron, for them to have any chance to score in this fourth quarter.
First and 10, 14 on that last play, and Thomas Jones gets punished on this carry.
They're playing run. Florida State's got safeties up. Chris Hope sticking in as soon as the ball's handed off, he's up there. You must throw the ball downfield to keep him off of you.
Jones now 25 carries on the night, 162 yards. And he said he is not troubled by carrying it 35 or 40 times against these guys.
He likes it.
Corey Simon gets a breather. Chris Woods is into the lineup, number 98. Rivers going on top with this one. Defensive play by Cleavon Thomas.
Cleavon Thomas is playing tonight for Tay Cody, who's suspended, and another Florida State player who's been suspended other than Peter Warwick and Lavernius Coles. And I think, Ron, of some of the rules that the NCAA have thrown out, like they used to have athletic dormitories, that way coaches could at least monitor players. They now only have one visit in recruiting. Sometimes you don't get to know enough about the players in recruiting. A lot of mistakes being made out there, and pro guys scout and spend a bunch of time and still make mistakes.
Rivers better get down. That was Bobby Rhodes who came up rapidly, tried to stiff arm him, but not much doing. It's going to be fourth down at about 5.5.
You're almost to the point of the game. They're going to send the punting team in here where you almost got to take a shot on fourth down.
Well, one thing Donnie Scott's got to make sure that he does, and that is get off a good punt and also get it away quicker.
Yeah, he shanked a couple, and he's had one blocked by Corey Simon.
Rivers goes over the football, so he is still playing quarterback and doing the long snap. Very, very high. Going to roll dead just short of the 20-yard line. We'll take a break. 30 yards in the kick, but no return. Florida State continues to lead by 11.
Suspension.
Davis could move like that.
I told him to think of himself as something powerful and agile.
I wonder what he was thinking.
We know advanced technology doesn't have to be complicated. That every product must be meaningful. And the end result will make you smile. Open up to Samsung Digital and keep in touch. Samsung Digital. Everyone's invited.
Rocky Top and the Irish. Don't miss this one. Please.
Notre Dame, Tennessee at 7:30 next Saturday on ESPN.
Well, Rivers talks it over on the sideline. He's been a busy guy. He's going to sleep well tonight. Playing quarterback really for the first time this year, and also continuing to do the long snap. And look at the formation by Florida State. 4 wide receivers, top of the screen. Here comes a blitz. And the quick out pass, and here's Warwick. Warwick will take it for the first down. It's a gain of 14.
What makes that dangerous, Ron, is that he can throw the football. And he's thrown passes this year. He's taken snaps directly from the center.
Longest tonight, Mike.
Yeah, throw the ball out to him, get 3 receivers blocking in front of him, and he makes a big gain. Gets a nice block by Minnis. 14-yard gain.
And Virginia with a player shaken up at the 37.
Maybe Jerton Evans, the free safety.
Jordan had an interception earlier on the night when Winkie was picked off 3 times in the first half.
Chris Winkie has looked to Peter Warwick. Last week, he was looking at him all night long. Tonight, thrown to him 7 times, 5 receptions. That's been the longest pass play he's caught. And Rick Lance, that was the job that they talked about at the team meeting last night. Let's keep everything in front of us.
Well,
that's nice.
It is Halloween, and we we are at UVA, and there's some creative characters up here. Oh my! It's a good thing it's past the dinner hour, right? It'll be a first down as the ball is on the 35-yard line.
It's an interesting sign there of Thomas Jones for Heisman. I think he should get some consideration because he's on a football team that's not a great football team. He's an excellent player. He's one of the best players I've seen all year.
Well, it's Evans going out, 8 tackles, 1 interception. The interesting point that you make is for youngsters that are not on television a great deal, and such is the case with Thomas Jones. It's been an up and down year, more down than up. But he has consistently to be top 3 in the nation in rushing. But a lot of people haven't seen him, and he's shown tonight, hey, buddy, I can play with the best.
Defense.
That's right.
If I had a vote, I'd vote for Thomas Jones because I've seen a tremendous football player here tonight. Make you miss. 2 yards after the catch if you're going to beat Florida State. Dwayne Stukes with the tackle. Angelo Crowell with the tackle. Yeah. Dwayne Stukes got juked.
Menace 6'1", 186, a junior out of Miami. 2 touchdowns in this game tonight. Travis Minor breaking off the tackle. Tweet will bring him down along with Jermaine Lauzon. And Brian Kenny, let's check with you again.
Well, Ron, we had Nebraska going up on top of Kansas, not going away. Down 17-9, Dylan Smith to Michael Chandler, getting a break here. Nobody's back behind him now. Going all the way in, 77 yards. 2-point conversion was good. So Kansas ties it up. A lot of time left in the 4th, Ron.
And a gambling will cost
defense,
you.
yeah.
Charlie McBride's guys got caught on that one. Gets it out to Warwick. That's a face mask. Let's see if we get a flag. There comes the flag, and he's loose. Warwick is going to take it the distance for the touchdown of 50 yards. Now, the flag that is down, I feel sure, is for the face mask. Lazan, number 49, grabbed him by the face mask.
Incidental face mask by the defense. That penalty is refused.
Good eyes, Ron.
So Peter Warrick, who tried really hard last week to make the big play, tonight you can see that some of that rust is off, and he is catching everything that is close to him, and on that one, turned a short pass play into a 50-yard touchdown.
And that sends him to the exits.
Flags are down, and it's going to be illegal substitution on. And now a little bit of an altercation as things are being hurled out of the stands at the Florida State team.
I think some of the players, Ron, from Florida State started motioning to the band.
Dead ball foul. Illegal substitution. 12 men in a formation by the defense. That penalty is refused.
What a great play by Peter Warrick. Catches the little flare pass, and watch the moves here. Stop, 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 and go.
He didn't just beat one. He had two guys going the wrong direction.
Poor tackling here late in the ball game. They played great defense all night, then finally allow the big play.
Janikowski gets the extra point. So with 7 minutes and 53 seconds left in the ball game, Florida State moves out to a 28-10 lead, and Peter Warrick with a 50-yard touchdown.
After you.
No, after you.
No. Mine says.
Please.
Sebring Coupe, Sebring Convertible. Either one is a very nice alternative to the other. Now, get $1,000 cash allowance on Sebring Coupe and Convertible.
The Lane Gang announces Lane's $1 million giveaway sale. Save big on all Lane reclining furniture in stores across the country. You not only save a bundle, you could win $1 million. Visit your local Lane dealer, and you could instantly win one of 500 recliners, plus a chance to win $1 million in a football toss in Lane's $1 million reclining giveaway sale.
Show me the million.
ESPN Sunday Night Football. Charlie Batch and the Lions offense will try to pounce on Warren Sapp and the frightening Bucs D in an NFC North showdown. Buccaneers-Lions, Sunday at 8:15 on ESPN.
I am so there.
Counting down the top 20, this 9-time Olympic champion dazzled the world with his unparalleled athleticism and his gold. Sports Century athlete number 12, Carl Lewis. Friday at 10:30 on ESPN, presented by General Motors.
Just get you up to speed on Virginia Tech versus Pittsburgh. Right now, Hokies up on top 27-17. That game can be seen over on ESPN2. Remember, vote on ESPN.com. Tell us who you think should be number one, Ron.
All righty. Plenty of time left in that ball game, at Pittsburgh coming back to make a show of it.
Who would you vote number one right now? Put you on the spot.
Florida State.
You've been impressed with them tonight?
Not in the first half, but I have been in the second half. And now that the fans are getting on their players so much, we got 7:53 left. We may not be close to having it over. One of the youngsters being taken out and arrested for throwing an object onto the field at the Florida State players.
I hope he has 35 cents to make a phone call.
I think he gets that free, doesn't he, Mike?
I don't know. Depends what he did.
Hawkins and Mason, the two deep men for Virginia. Strange looking kick, kind of a screwball, and it's going to be Hawkins at the goal line. Gets by one tackler and will not get by the second as he is tackled at the 11-yard line by Pete Henderson. Well, this is how they fell together this week. Florida State, Penn State, Virginia Tech, Tennessee, Kansas State, and Florida.
Kansas State, it just keeps winning big. Now, Bill Snyder out there has got another ball club. Now, they got some tough games coming. They got Nebraska yet. Florida's got Florida State at home right where they want them. A lot of football to be played. Stay tuned.
Thomas Jones. Thomas going to take it for two tough ones. Bobby Rhodes on the tackle.
Ron, to win a national championship, you need a lot of big plays. And I don't know if there's going to be a bigger play all year than Chris Hope made last week against Clemson, because Clemson was driving, had about third and 6 to get the first down. You see the 1st and 10 marker right there. Chris Hope made that tackle, just saving the first down. That's just backup safety, forced the field goal, blocked by Cody, game over. You go back and you look at that play, that'll be one that they'll remember for a while in Tallahassee.
Jamal Reynolds was all over Rivers, who really had to hustle just to get that one away, and it's going to be a 3rd down.
If I was Mickey Andrews, I'd just tell everybody it's the second half when you start the ball game, because this defense, for some reason, when they come out in the second half, they play hard. They don't give you an inch.
You know, there's some pitchers that they talk about, they warm them up twice because they're not ready after just one time. You're right. Maybe they should bring them out a little earlier. Let them go back and bring them out again.
Yeah.
7 minutes left in the ball game. Flag is down. That ball is batted down at the line of scrimmage by David Warren. David may have gotten a head start, and that's the reason for the laundry.
Offside by the defense. 5 yards, previous spot. Repeat 3rd down.
There must be something in the water in the state of Florida, because the team you like does the same thing on offense. Miami, Florida. They start slow, and then they come back. Boston College had the lead on them, 28-0, and West Virginia had them going, and they find a way to win the second half, too.
0 for 6 3rd down conversions as you look at Dan Ellis, the starting quarterback, who suffered a slight concussion at the end of the first half. More pressure in the middle screen, and it's dropped by Hawkins. And again, Jamal Reynolds, you're supposed to let him go free, but maybe not quite that free.
No, Ron, this game was over when Florida State scored that touchdown to go up 10 points, because Virginia's offense was not going to move against this Florida State defense.
Reggie Durden will drop back at a deep safety as Rivers moves up over the football to handle the long snap. Donnie Scott, 8th punt of the night. Dandy kick, wobbly spiral. Durden will field it at the 34. Shannon Taylor on the special teams, 51 yards in the boot and only 2 yards on the return.
Good coverage. Now you figure Florida State with little short passes, draw plays to Minor, just running this clock out at 6:35. One thing, when you look at their schedule, they get an open date after this ball game. They get a chance to get players healed, then come back to Maryland. They got Maryland at home, and then they go to the Swamp.
Peter Warwick wanted to throw the ball, and Pete Spina going to run out of bounds. And it was Shannon Taylor who was out there trying to deny him from either running or throwing the football.
Now that's an interesting call. Late in the ball game like this, 6:35. Again, trying to get Peter Warwick involved in the plays. They're just going to throw the ball to him again. Hit the draw or throw the ball out to Warwick.
Warwick Warwick on the other side. Tackled at the 35 by Hollier.
This statistic time right here.
Yeah.
Garbage points at the end in basketball. It would be the same thing. He's trying to get Peter Warwick the ball in his hands.
Under 6 minutes left in our ball game. 18-point lead by Florida State. Almost intercepted by Sproul.
He'd have had a touchdown. He would have had a touchdown if he could have held on to that ball. Ron Dugans is the intended receiver. And the defense, the fans are giving them a round of applause. They deserve. They played good football tonight.
Hawkins is the deep man as they don't want to take a chance on Jones. 5th time that the Seminoles have punted tonight. Hawkins with a fair catch at the 17. 48 yards on that kick. And a reminder, Residence Inn College Game Night follows our game. Then at 11 Eastern, Sports Center, Linda Cohn and Kenny Mayne. And the top stories tonight, Georgia and Florida, and a big SEC East battle. Michigan and a squeaker, and the Reds and the Rockies make a trade. That and more tonight at Sports Center. For more than 20 years, your source of sports news and highlights.
I watched that Michigan game today. Indiana had them on the ropes. Had a chance to beat them.
Cam has done a nice job. Indiana's continued to get better, continue to improve.
Don't show a lot of wins, but they're showing improvement right now.
And the play clock ran down.
They're going to set that again. Georgia lost to Florida. Georgia, young football team.
Delay of game, offense, 5 yards, it's still first down.
I think sometimes, Ron, you know, like a guy like Quincy Carter, so much expected of him, and you got to remember that he's only a sophomore, playing good football. But the Georgia football team, I'm still convinced, very, very young and future ahead of them.
This is Foreman, Tyree Foreman. Tackled after a gain of a couple. Bobby Rhodes is there to make the stop. So they have pulled the plug on Thomas Jones. And you got to understand in a ball game where you're down by 18 and 5 minutes and 20 seconds left, no sense in taking a chance on getting that young man hurt. He's too valuable to this football team.
No, and the people here, they appreciate Thomas Jones. They get to see him every week. He is really one fine back. He may be the best back in America I've seen all year.
Rivers gets this one complete. That's out to the 23 to Mason. There's Thomas. And probably the other thing that should be mentioned about him is the fact that Thomas already has his degree.
And that's against Florida State's defense.
164 yards, got his degree in just over 3 years. This is not an easy place to matriculate from, particularly early, and play football. So, again, we tip our hat to him. Outstanding football player and also outstanding young man in the classroom.
He should be on that Heisman group that goes to New York.
Pressure from the outside. That's Allen, and that ball incomplete.
If he's not, Ron, that'll be an injustice. Because he is a fine player. Yep, I agree with you. He ought to have one. Matter of fact, he ought to have about 10. So he can take everybody with him. He deserves to go to New York.
Peter Warwick is the deep man for the Seminoles as Donnie Scott again lines up to punt. Warwick fumbles the ball at the 40, makes his own recovery. Last week, Florida State and Clemson would bring together the first father-son matchup in college football history. Son Tommy threatened to spoil the moment after posting an 11-point halftime lead, but Sebastian Janikowski's field goal sealed a comeback to give Bobby his 300th career win. You know, what's interesting about Janikowski leaving that shoe, or the manager's leaving it, Coach Bowden and his staff elected not to go through a workout at Clemson. And I'm just thinking that, you know, if they had, Janikowski would have realized that the shoe was not packed, and they could have overnighted it to him. But since they didn't, it was a situation where he didn't have it, and he missed 2 field goals in that game, most unlike him.
I think Adrian talked to him about that today, and I think he said he left it home. Marcus Outson's in the ball game, Ron. Now,
Nick Maddox also, freshman out of Kannapolis, North Carolina. As they get a look at him, he'll take it out to the 46.
Next week, we get go to Knoxville, Tennessee. We get Notre Dame. They're always fun. Bring a lot of people with them, a lot of excitement. Tennessee's playing as well as anybody in the country right now.
Granted. And it's always one of those things. Notre Dame is the type of team that everybody brings their best effort and their biggest voice. And I would imagine that 106,000+ people, it'll be a very lively and noisy house in Knoxville next Saturday.
They'll be after the Irish.
Well, this is a reverse to Greg Moore.
Ron, Chris Winkie off to a tough start with those 3 interceptions, but he settled down, made some plays in the second half, did a couple key passes. And he ends up pretty good statistics-wise, 24 for 35. Throw away this right here. 3 interceptions. It's a pretty good night. And you believe as he goes, so goes Florida State.
Well, everybody talks about how important Peter Warrick is to this team, and I agree. But last year in the national championship, we saw they had Warrick, but they didn't have Winkie. And in many ways, I think he's more important to this football team than Peter is. This is a really nice kick. Spiral, turning over, and fumbled and recovered by Florida State at the 9-yard line.
Reggie Durden.
Reggie Durden on the special teams.
Well, Virginia has just run out of gas. They gave a valiant effort early in this ball game for the upset. They just don't have enough. They don't have enough players. Injury to Dan Ellis hurt Virginia. Florida State's defense with a great effort in the second half.
Baby Ford, number 22, checks in at tailback. Outson's pass overthrown. That's for Greg Moore. 1:50 showing on the clock. And for those people booing, you need to understand that you are one play away from taking from this kid being your starting quarterback.
Well, it happened last year here. Chris Winkie got hurt here last year. So Marcus Outson needs some time to throw the football.
Under 100% full steam. Game conditions.
Don't get much practice. Chris Winkie gets most of the practice. Jared Jones, third quarterback. I think they'll run the ball here, Ron. Davey Ford.
Yep, maybe the sophomore out of West Palm Beach are going to throw it. But look, quick slant, quick post. Bell made the reception at the 1.
And the reason I like this by Mark Richt, and they can boo all they want to, but Marcus Outson fumbled that snap going in there, and you don't want a guy to end on a bad note, so you like for him to have some success here tonight. You're one play away from him being in there.
Will score the touchdown.
He held on to that one. it's tough on that sideline, Ron, when you're coaching Rick Lance and Gary Tranquil and George Welsh. They gave a great effort. They had a great plan tonight. But all of a sudden, you look up at the scoreboard and you're behind 34-10.
Janikowski with the extra point, and it's 35-10 with 1:14 left in the ball game, and will take the timeout with him. The #1 Seminoles now with a 25-point margin.
How huge is the new pond? Almost that huge.
Oh, nice one.
The new pond, massive new levels, major 3D graphics, and king-size competition, outrageous arenas, special power-ups, killer moves, pong soccer style. Take on water games and penguins. Yes, penguins. Up to 4 players can go at it in a big-time Pong-a-palooza. The new Pong, it's huge. For PC and the PlayStation game console. Only from Atari.
Folks, why settle for some teeny-weeny chicken sandwich made by Burger Boys? Take a big old bite of Colonel's new Triple Crunch. Not 1, not 2, but 3 crunchy white meat strips. Well, you almost need 3 hands to hold it. Try my new Triple Crunch sandwich. Right now, it's just $1.99. $1.99? I can do that. I'm the Colonel. My new Triple Crunch at KFC. It's just one of 5 new sandwiches.
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Making their way the only way they know how. That's just a little bit more than the law will allow.
35-10, Florida State leads, 1:14 showing on the clock.
And Ron, we were talking about Marcus Outs, and you'd like to have him go out with a positive thought tonight. Also, the BCS, really encourages points against the opponent. You look at the comparative scores.
Beat Miami by 10, Clemson by 3.
Look at Virginia Tech, 20 over Clemson.
It was Hawkins who brought it back to the 16. Well, coming up on Thursday on ESPN, Kentucky travels to Starkville to take on the 8th-ranked Mississippi State Bulldogs. The Bulldogs, coming off consecutive comeback victories, are in the front. The front runners in the SEC West. Coverage begins 7:30 Eastern with Thursday Game Night presented by Gateway. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.
Ron Sparky Woods, the former offensive coordinator here at Virginia, is down in Starkville doing a very good job like he did here for George Welsh. He's doing it for Jackie Sherrill and Joe Lee Dunn, the defensive coordinator. That's going to be a game Thursday night. Hey, who can set the tempo?
Let me tell you, I think the Cats will give the Bulldogs
I'm sure
all they can handle.
If Kentucky sets the tempo and then scoring, then I think they may win that game. If Joe Lee Dunn and the defense for Mississippi State sets that tempo, then I think it favors Mississippi State.
Clock runs at 37, now 36 seconds. And to the 21, our Visa players of the game from Florida State. Well, the big defensive lineman, Corey Simon, 6 tackles, 1 interception, 1 blocked punt. And from Virginia, Thomas Jones, 26 carries, 164 yards, and 1 touchdown. And congratulations to those 2 young men, not only good football players, but outstanding young fellows. 5 seconds down to 4, and this one is history, as Florida State will remain perfect and probably hold on, or certainly hold on, to the #1 spot in the land with this victory tonight over Virginia. Our final score, Florida State 35 and Virginia 10, coming up next. Residents in College Game Night, followed by Sports Center. And join us next Saturday at prime time as Notre Dame heads to Knoxville to take on 4th-ranked Tennessee. For Mike Gottfried and Adrian Karsten, I'm Ron Franklin. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. Once again, here's Brian Kenny.
Also along the southern tip of Texas, each of you could be seeing some of these stronger storms develop. Now, so far in Texas, you have not seen those thunderstorms. We still have plenty of afternoon left, and you could be getting some of those nasty thunderstorms this afternoon.
Looks more like hand-to-hand combat. But it's time now to bring down the curtain on all the ballyhoo. So let's end this bizarre body language with a whirlybird special. How about that? Time now to gaze upon high-flying feats of finesse featuring a big league fielding fleet. First up, Montreal's Vance Law. Baltimore's Alan Wiggins. Kansas City's Frank White. Montreal's Tim Wallach. Seattle's Jim Presley staying with it. And we'll stay with the Mariners for another one, this time off Presley to Danny Tarnable. Pittsburgh, Sammy Khalifa.